think it's showing starting at 8, from 8 until. Well, that water kind of early, ain't it? Shalom, brother. All right. So today's topics, we'll have 3 of them we're going to try and get through, Lord's will. The first one is alms. The second one is building and coming together in Yahushua. Building in Christ, coming together in Christ. And then the third one is about traveling. Okay, so we're going to open up in Mark the 12th chapter. Hey, Shalom Shabbat, sis. Okay, Mark chapter 12, verse 41 it is.
This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 41. And Yahushua sat over against the treasury and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much.
Okay, stop. Let's get them. Let them get in. Sit. Take a seat. All right. So we're at the book of Mark, chapter 12. What's up, Uzziah, Yarel? Mark chapter 12 and 41. So pay attention to the detail in this verse. Read it again.
Mark chapter 12 and verse 41. And Yahushua sat over against the treasury.
Right, so Christ sat over against the treasury, the place where Israel would come and give alms. What do you think he was doing? What do you think he was doing? He was sitting there watching. He sat across, maybe across the street, across the path, across the road. He sat there and he observed and beheld how the people, they cast money into the treasury. So he was sitting there and he was watching. So if he sees, who else sees? The Most High sees. Okay, go ahead.
And many that were rich cast in much.
And many that were rich, they cast in much. So it's gotten to the point today to where we have people. Let's think about the Israelite community. Brothers and sisters in the Israelite community have, but are you casting in? Are you giving? I'm not sure where, because Israel, I know you scattered, but the whole thing is we want to think about how Israel is in Christian church, and you're making Christian church rich, and you're making pastors rich, and his wife, and their children, and those are causes unjustly for wickedness. But in the Israelite community, Israel, if you have, you're actually supposed to be given. Because there is righteousness that is going down in Israel. And what is the righteousness that's going down? The spreading of the gospel, like we read in Matthew 28. Let's get that, Matthew 28. This can't happen without your energy and your effort. Verse 19.
This is Matthew 28 and verse 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations.
Go ye therefore and teach all nations. So now, we hold down regular jobs just like the rest of brothers and sisters. The ones that are in this truth. When you're in this truth and you come up out of the world, the Lord put you in a lower state. He suffered you to the common person. You know, most of us are what they call check to check. Check to check, week to week, month to month. Well, let the check don't come in that week. You're going to feel the pain. Let the check don't come in for 2 weeks. Things are going to get worse. Let the check don't come in for that month. You're threatening being evicted. The preachers and ministers of the Father, the Most High in spirit and truth, we don't judge for reward. We don't teach for hire. So everything that's being done, we have to stop what we're doing to come and teach and preach the word of the Most High. Yeah, money don't just fall out the sky. People are not just pulling up. We're subject to the same taxes, the same payments, the same utilities as every brother and every other sister. So now brothers and sisters must collectively bring contributions in. And your contributions make it possible for this ministry to go forth. So when it says, go ye therefore and teach, how are we going to get there? Because alone, we can't just afford to pick up and go. It has to be the contributions to that for this ministry. To pay for rentals, to pay for fuel. Not to buy personal items, shoes, clothing, and food and stuff like that. But no. But, you know, for the sole purpose of spreading the gospel. Israel, you want to get out of captivity. You want to get out of captivity. How do you get out of captivity? By turning the hearts and minds of the children to the fathers, to ancient forefathers that was written in the scriptures. So when we go before our people, we say, listen, we open up the Bible, and then we tell them about their history. We can't sit and stay in one place and do that, though. Our seed must go unto the end of the earth. So brothers and sisters, you know, we got to step it up. Y'all out there, y'all have to step it up. Y'all brothers and sisters out there, y'all have to sow. And you have to sow in faith. Doubt nothing. All right, so let's go back. So the end of 41, Mark 12 and 41, and many that were rich, they cast in much. Israel, in the Israelite community now, Israel is not casting in. You're not casting in. You know, you're not giving. And not giving, that's a covetous spirit. Okay? Israel, we love to hear it, but you got to help too. You got to help buy food, for feast days, things like that. You got to help. You got to help, man. You can't just sit back and think that things going to take care of itself. The heathens already don't want you to do this. This is a part of keeping the commandments. You understand? The high holy days, the feast days, fellowshipping, coming together. Everybody, this room that you're sitting in, very comfortable and everything. The air conditioner that blows that, the heathens don't pay for that. We don't get handouts. The heathens don't pay for that. Israelites pay for this. So what happens when Israel comes short? When we come short, when we don't pay it, then they'll cut that thing off. So it's us. We got to take care of ourselves. You brothers and sisters, y'all working, y'all should be contributing. If you have, then you should give abundantly. Let's get that very quickly. Because these Israelites that were wealthy, that were rich, they had it. You got it?
Tobit chapter 4.
No, we're going to come back and get it. I just want this point. Yeah, we'll come back. Tobit chapter 4 and 8.
This is Tobit chapter 4 and verse 8.
And so, you brothers and sisters, y'all sit in the classes, y'all should be sending alms to the General Assembly. We definitely need and can use your assistance, use your help. We're trying to go back out of town next weekend and we're scraping and scrapping. It shouldn't be that difficult. Okay? Tobit chapter 4 and 8. Read that.
Tobit 4 and 8. If thou hast abundance.
If you have abundance, meaning if you rich, if you're wealthy, if you're rich, if you're wealthy, okay? Anybody that wants to give, just inbox me. Inbox me. Go to the inbox. I'll then tell you how. A lot of times, a lot of brothers and sisters, it be in your heart when the scriptures come out, but then after class, then your heart go back to covetous. You're like, oh, well, I don't know. I was like, huh? This is the same brother that was just like, yo, brother, y'all take offerings, y'all take alms. If we needed it when we asked, what make you think we didn't need it after class? If you have abundance, go ahead.
Give alms accordingly.
Right. The Bible says, give alms accordingly. The Father knows the necessity. He knows the position of everybody. He knows the condition of everybody. He don't expect, you know the saying that you can't draw juice from a turnip. He knows that the state that you're in, if you're poor, that you don't have. But if you do have, this is the point. If you do have, then just give a portion, give accordingly. Because truth be told, it goes a long way. You know, a few weeks ago, we took everybody off the burden, a skeleton amount. You understand? We scraped that money together, man. It was so naked. It was so cheap. It was so bare that we were able to do that. I don't like to press and do it like that, but I wanted to show us that, hey, this is that's out here. We should be able to go and teach this ministry, man, and fellowship with other brothers and sisters. And the place that we went, the people embraced us. The people of the city embraced us. The family, the household that we went to embraced us. You understand? But it's not always going to be, you know, so cheap. You know, I can't always scrape and scrap the bottom of the barrel and expect things to happen like that. Okay? So Israelites, if you have abundant, then the scriptures say that you should give accordingly. All right? It doesn't gonna hurt you. I just give you an example. You have $1,000 and then you give $50. Does that hurt you? No, that doesn't hurt you. That doesn't hurt you. Okay? That's just an example. Go ahead.
If thou have but a little.
But if you have but a little, what's a little? Brother, you got $53 left. You get paid. See, and we do this thing backwards here. You get paid, you pay all your bills, and then you look at what you're gonna do and what you need to function yourself until the next time you get paid, and then you say, well, after that I'm really not gonna have nothing left, and then you're ashamed because you're like, well, it seems like it's about $8 left. You know, I might as well wait till I get paid again, and then I'll have enough money, then I can do something to where I can give something to where I'm not really ashamed. That's backwards. Because when you read in the law, the Most High always, whatever we had, the Lord was like, give him his first. Because then you wouldn't want to give. Okay? Then Israel, you wouldn't want to give. And that's where some of us, that's where we end up at. We end up, after you have calculated you and your thing, then you say, that's nothing left. So if you're going to give something, then you give it first. The script say, but if that, and if you have but little, brother, you got $53 and you give $3, no one is going to frown upon that. We out in the streets and somebody give alms and then they give $1, we content with that. We're like, okay, thanks a lot. You did something better than nothing. So if you have but little, Israel, I know y'all have but little. The thing is, what's up, Shalom, Ricky? Israel is not giving anything. Israel is not giving anything. And then you youngsters, y'all beginning to get jobs. You beginning to get jobs. Make sure that you keep in mind the giving of alms, because who gave you the spirit, the power, the might to get that? You think that it's you? Trust and believe. It's not you. I was going to tell my own children that too. Y'all growing up, y'all beginning to get jobs. Hey, don't get your money and then you just keep on buying and buying and buying, and you don't consider the Most High in Christ. You don't consider the person that put this life and spirit inside of you. You help build this nation, man. If you got but little, then don't be afraid to give accordingly. You can finish it.
Be not afraid to give according to that little.
Be not afraid to give according to that little. Let's get this thing I was quoting in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 8. Is this support?
Verse 17.
Yeah, Deuteronomy chapter 8 and I'll read Deuteronomy 8 and 11. It says, beware that thou forget not the Most High, and not keeping his commandments, judgments, and statutes which I command thee. Least when thou art eating, thou hast eaten and art full. How'd you eat and get full? Because you was working and you got paid, and has built goodly houses and dwelt therein. So now you own personal possessions and you own properties. Verse 13, and when thy herds and flocks multiply, thy silver and gold multiply, and all that thou hast is multiplied. So you might not have herds and flocks now. Some of you might have 2-3 cars. Some of you people out there, you got cars. Okay? You got property, you got houses, you got stuff. You got gold and jewelry, you have clothing, raiment, you have all of these things. Thy heart be lifted up. Then thy heart, verse 14, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget who? Yahweh thy power, the Most High God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Verse 17, read that.
And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand have gotten me this wealth.
So you fool. You say that my power. You know what my power is? You know that spirit that you in when you going to work? I don't mind going to work. I'm up. Wash your face, brush your teeth. You run out of the door. That spirit in you, that energy in you, God gave you that energy. The Most High gave you that energy. My power. You like my power and my might, meaning my strength of my hand. You like, I put in this hard work and this hard labor. I'll put these hours in. Some of you think like, I put these hours in, have gotten me this wealth. So this $637.87, that belongs to me because I did the work. And you'll be thinking about the next brother or sister, somebody that looks like you, because they might be requiring things of you. I'm even asking you to do this and do that. And the only thing you can think about is yourself. And so because you do us like that, you're not really realizing that you also do the Most High like that. Because what did the Most High tell Israel to do? He told Israel to make it so that his house is good. All right? Make it so that the storehouse is good. Okay? So now let's lose that. And let's go back to Mark.
This is Mark chapter 12, and verse 42.
So now Christ is standing across from the place where Israel would toss in from the treasury, where they would toss in their alms. Okay? Their alms. So we're not, I'm sorry, Slakia. You know, we're not teaching Israel that you under law of tithing. Because everybody know in Israel that tithing, what that was. We're talking about you having the ability to bring forth freely an alms, an offering. And because you have the option to freely give it, sometimes you don't exercise that option. You don't exercise it quite a bit. You don't exercise it enough. Every now and then doesn't work. It should be something that's consistent. As the Most High blessed you, that's how you're supposed to be doing it. You're supposed to do it for conscience sake towards the Most High. Not for brothers that's teaching the scriptures, but for conscience sake towards the Most High. And then there are factors to where brothers and sisters, they be hesitant and neglecting to give an offer because of ill men's, false men's dealings. Well, that's why the scriptures say do what to a friend. That's why it says prove a friend. Okay? Prove a friend. So now hold this before we get that. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus about doing good when you're gonna do good, right?
14.
I was right there. Ecclesiasticus 12. In verse 1.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 1.
Right.
When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
That's right. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it. So if you're going to give, then know something about the establishment. Know something about the establishment. Know something about the brother. Okay? Verse 2.
Verse 2. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
Right. So do good unto what? The godly man. So the godly, so you know brothers are righteous. You know brothers are godly. Those are the type of brothers that you would give your alms to. You gonna give alms into a thief, a liar, a fornicator, an adulterer, an idolater? Nah. Now you constantly building something that the Most High is trying to turn down. Or he ain't trying, he is turned down. And a lot of brothers and sisters with that, you will be frustrated with that. I've heard the tales, man. Brothers getting frustrated, brothers getting ripped off. A few years ago, this brother I know from Chicago was telling me how he had been giving money to another brother, and they were supposed to pay for rooms or something. They all traveled. The brother showed up. The man spent the money. They had no rooms. He's like, wait a minute, what kind of stuff is this? Then he had to end up just paying again out of his pocket to do something. And I know the brother that he's talking about that did him like that, that brother was a fornicator. A drunken fornicator who all he did was mostly, quite often, drank and dallied with the girls. So, but he was a young brother and didn't know no better. That's why the scripture said, when you're gonna do good, when you're gonna do something and you expect the good come from it, it's not saying be a fool. It's saying know what you're doing. You understand? When you read verse 4,
Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner.
Right. Give to the godly man. Brothers is keeping the commandments, teaching the commandments. Those people are going to do what? They're going to deal righteous with it. All right? Whoa, dirty dog. And he did dirty. Yeah, he did a lot more than that. He did a lot more than that. That's just one little incident, that was told, and I partly believe it. Okay, so we at Ecclesiasticus chapter 12. We're at Sirach 12. Read verse 3 while we're here.
Ecclesiasticus 12 and 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Go ahead.
Nor to him that giveth no alms.
Why is that in the same sentence? There can no good happen to him that is always occupied in evil. What is evil? He's just going about his business, not considering the Most High, but considering him. And then on top of that, what does Scripture say? Nor to him that giveth no alms. So brothers and sisters that don't give alms, you have to correct that. I was gonna say you should feel bad, but you'll feel Shalom says you'll feel bad already on your own. The Scriptures itself has enough to self-correct you. You don't need me to push it in no further. You ever seen somebody get stabbed and then they push the knife even further and they say, oh, you need me to get you on top of it. But if you're always occupied in evil, but you're always looking for a blessing, it's not going to happen. It says, nor there can no good come to him that giveth no alms. Israel, you shouldn't be like that, okay? You got to learn to give. And this is where I begin to teach you how to give, okay? Give to the General Assembly. this inbox. What are we going to do with it? We're going to deal righteously. We're going to keep the feast days with it. We're going to pay utilities with it. We're going to pay repairs with it. And God will it, if it's enough, we'll put together and we'll travel. And hopefully we'll be able to come and see you. We'll rent vans with it. And we'll travel with it. And we'll go and teach the word of the Most High. So when you see us constantly out teaching, what do you think we're trying to do? We're trying to wake Israel up because we want to see the end of this thing, just like the rest of y'all want to see the end of this thing. Every brother that's true. Why? And it wasn't like that. Every brother in our congregation worked. Every single brother in the congregation worked. And it's to the point where we're pushing the children to work. Even our children are beginning to get jobs. If they turning 16 years old, they're wanting to work. They want to get out there and get jobs. So we don't use money that's meant for this ministry for our own personal reason, our own personal gain. But it's not enough. Y'all, we live in the same society. It's not enough for us to take, single by ourselves and then go out and then float the whole mission, float the boat of the ministry from our own finances. We can't do it. We need the contributions from collectively, from everybody. Right, brother? So let's go back.
This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 42. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which made a farthing. And he called unto him.
Right, so that's like a few pennies. Sisters, she was poor. Yeah, she was poor. And she gave a few pennies, a few mites. Go ahead.
Verse 43. And he called unto him his disciples.
So Christ sent the disciples, come. There's a message in this. Y'all need to listen to it. He sent the rich that was good. They were rich, they were good. And because of tradition, custom, them being taught, their mind seasoned to give, they're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Let me give. I'm supposed to give. Right? So then this poor woman, the poor woman coming, her clothes ain't going to be nice. Her clothes is worn, probably aged. But then she throw in a few pennies. He see that. While he see the other people doing their thing. So even if you doing your thing and you living your life and you giving, that still ain't going to amount up to nothing because you got to have righteousness with it. See, ain't nobody really out there. Ain't nobody at all in no points. After financially, your money, we supposed to give. But if it's not accompanied with righteousness, then you're going to end up in trouble. So he chose this poor woman who only had 3 cents. Let's just call it 3 cents, something that we can put our mind on. Read the next part.
And said unto them, verily I say unto you.
He said, truly, that's what verily means. Truly I say unto you, go ahead.
That this poor widow had cast more in.
Have what?
Hath cast more in.
Hi. This poor widow has cast more in. She only gave 3 pennies. The rich, we say they might have gave her a few thousand, a few hundreds. But this woman, she cast in more. Go ahead.
Than all they which have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance.
So they did it because they were programmed to do it like that. They cast it in because they had it. So now Christ is trying to teach us something. Go ahead.
But she of her want.
But she did what?
Of her want.
She did it of her want. So are y'all seeing, why did she give in everything that she had?
Because she wanted, she did want something.
Well, it didn't say everything that she had. It said that she threw in 2 mites.
She probably had faith. Yeah.
Why did she do it? So let's just say it was her last. She gave 2 mites. In other words, that was all that she had. That was all that she had. She gave that. She was poor. She had 2 mites. Now, who part with their last $2? Bring it up a little notch. Couple dollars, $2. Who gonna part with their last $2, man? Nobody here gonna part with their last $2. Your last $2, you gonna leave your last $2. It's like, man, it's my last $2. I'm sitting here trying to tell you this. Okay, you got $2 and then that's all you got. Give a quarter. Give 50 cents. I'm saying, this is me saying, this woman is on a higher level than me. She like, what she did was she cast in the 2 mites. So if the 2 mites is, well, let's just say that would be all her living. That's all she had. My question is, why did she do it? She did it because she wanted the Most High to do something back in return. That's why she did it. So, but we be wanting the Most High to do things for us back in return, while we what? We tight-fisted. What is that about the hands of being tight-fisted? Yeah.
So let's say a person make like $600 or $550 a check, and that's every 2 weeks, and he get paid twice in a month, and would give him $50 be too little, or would that be just right to him making $550?
If that's what, remember the scripture say, if you have abundant, give accordingly. If you have a little, be not afraid. So you have to judge the matter. You understand? You have to judge the matter on what you're able to. So remember, they gave out of their abundance. So his question is, this brother here got a question. He's saying that if you made $600 every 2 weeks, just give or take, get $600 every 2 weeks, and then you gave $50. You know, is that $50 every 2 weeks or $50 a month?
Every 2 weeks.
You gave $50 every 2 weeks. He said, is that too little or is that too much? So I can't tell you how to rule your heart. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have got to know what your abundance is. You got to know what you can afford and what you can't afford. But the point is the scriptures say, give accordingly. So if you have abundance, then don't be afraid. If you have, or give accordingly if you have abundance. If you have a little, then don't be afraid to give according to that little which you have. If that's sufficient enough for you, then you can stand it without that putting you into a red or into the danger zone. Now you can't provide, you can't eat. You understand? Because y'all know I've had brothers to come and brothers to give offering, and then I turn around and I ask brother, okay, are you okay? Are you fine? And then next thing you know, the spirit is on them to give. So the brother and gave money, and he, without thinking, he like, wait a minute, man, I don't have no money. I'm like, well, damn, why did you give this then? Here, brother, you take this back. Yeah, you take this back. Everybody understand that? Yeah, don't give this much. Don't give this amount. You give this portion right here. And then this portion right here, then you can take care of your life, man. Or you can go back, you can work, you can eat, you can do this. I mean, people without thinking will do that. You know, they love the Most High. And I ain't gonna even say it's about fear. So they love the Most High, and they see what we're doing, and they see people always wanting. It's like the mind of a child. You understand? They watch older brothers that are giving and brothers are participating and brothers are doing this. And then the first opportunity and first chance they get, then they say, okay, I got some money. I'm going to give here, man. But then, you know, knowing this brother, I'm like, okay, well, what's up with this, brother? Are you okay with this? I'll just give you an example. A young brother wanted to give, if a young brother wants to give, let's just say $150. He said, I'm going to give $150. Young brother come with $150. And I know, I'm like, okay, well, you normally don't have any money. Now you got $150 to give. Okay, so you've been working. So now tell me what's going on for the future. Yo, brother, do you got money saved? You know, the scriptures say, be diligent to know the state of the flock. So I'm going to ask my brother, you got money saved? No, I ain't got no money saved. Well, wait a minute. You don't got, every man should have some money. So you don't have no money saved. Okay. So finish evaluating. How you going to get back and forth to work? He's standing there plugged. Okay. What about for lunch, the food to eat? I don't work. I said, okay then. Well, you know what, brother? This is what you do. I'm going to give this back to you. And then I want you to think about what you're doing and what you're giving. And I want you to be able to provide for you and your house. Make sure that you got bills, you got stuff taken care of. And then give accordingly. So the point is that you got to be able to judge that matter. You got to know, you know, what you can do. Now, what would I recommend? The situation that I just explained, what type of amount would I recommend that this brother would be able to give and offer? Out of that, probably about $25. The cost of living is no joke. It costs to eat on a daily basis. So therefore, you understand, he should be able to get back and forth to work from that paycheck to the next paycheck. And then he should have some bills or something that he needs to be paying for at home. And what if here's another question for you. What if he's staying with somebody else and he have no bills in his name? Rent under the table? It ain't like that. Rent under the table. Then he should be able to give more? Negative. They're gonna expect something from him. Yes. So he should expect. You know what I'm saying? You should, because this building is a process. You understand? This race ain't to the swift. You understand? So you're not profiting off of no brother, no sister. So you're teaching and you're guiding them. So you also got to teach them the right way, the right thing to do. So he's got to go and give the people where he stay at some money. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to think about that, and you have to endorse and encourage. Yo, brother, you've been staying with these people. They're gonna want something. They feed you. So you would actually have to tell them, this is what you do. You don't just take it because a brother is trying to give it to you. You understand? Y'all remember this, because young brothers would do that. Not really knowing. So they'll be looking for your leadership, looking for your guidance, and that's why you would have to lead and guide them the correct type of way. And you teach them to give. No, brother, okay, well, just this portion is sufficient. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna do this together. You know, the rest, you save some so that you can, save some, you can go back and forth to work. You can have a couple bucks in your pocket. You can put some to the side, and then you can help pay your way where you at. That way, it's a balance. It's a just weight and balance everywhere. And you also contributed, you know what I'm saying, into a foundation that's building. Right? You got it?
Yes, sir.
Always remember it. Okay. Where do we stop at? Did you find it? Let me see. Yeah, no, that's it. Ecclesiastes 4 and 31.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 31.
Give them a chance to get it. Ecclesiastes 4:31. Okay.
Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive.
See, hold up. I'm sensing some. Let not your hand be stretched out to receive. Oh, here's another example of, if you don't mind. Okay, there's another example. This brother at the water, he gave money for the feast, maybe a week or so ago, about a week ago. And then, so we start collecting, you know what I'm saying, the fee for the feast about the food. And then, the first time, I guess it was early, so I thought that you were just giving for tabernacles. But when I looked in and I counted, I said, okay, this ain't tabernacles. This is a daily allowance for the new moon. So I figured that this is what it was for, right? And so then, a few days ago, he gave another envelope and it got feast on it. So I'm thinking, okay, but this is for tabernacles. So when I open it up and it's the same amount, I said, yo, brother, you already gave for the feast. He said, I did. I said, yeah. I said, well, let me go back and double check. So I go back and I double check, and lo and behold, yeah, he had given for the feast. So at that point, I said, I'll let you know. So then what did I do? I did what? I gave it back to him. You see? So it's not about that, man. This is about teaching us what to do and how to do it. Okay? We're not oppressing nobody, but we definitely cannot do it without our contributions, not from just one brother, but from all of us. So if we all collectively get on the ball and we start contributing, guess what's going to happen? We're going to grow. We're going to be able to do a lot of things that we're seeking to do. Okay? So now, Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 31. Read it.
Ecclesiastes 4 and 31. Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive.
Right. You praying to the Most High. You want the Most High to help you. You got your hand stretched out. The Most High bless you. He give you a job. But go ahead.
And shut when thou shouldest repay.
And now you got it shut when you should repay. How are you going to repay the Most High? By bringing in alms. By bringing in alms. Now your hand is like this. Your hand is shut. You can't be like that, Israel. Okay? Oh, Ecclesiastes 5 and 1. I'll read it. It says, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life, I'm good. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart, meaning to continue to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
And say not, who shall control me for my works? Meaning, who's going to stop me? Because we'll be telling you that the Most High will stop you. How? By shutting the windows of heaven. And he won't pour upon you a blessing. It says, for the Lord will surely revenge your pride. Okay? So somebody has a question, is there a way we can do alms like work? That's acceptable too? Yes. And we'll get into that. As a matter of fact, alms deeds. Tobit said that he did alms deeds. Okay? But let's get that, and then we'll get Ecclesiastes. Yeah. So alms deeds is when you do certain things for brothers. A brother did an alms deeds for me yesterday. He didn't know it though. He didn't call it alms deeds. But when I asked him what I owed him, he just politely and simply said nothing. We did a floor together. Turned out beautiful. I just ain't posted no pictures of each other. Turned out real nice. Okay? It's something that you would typically, earn money for or receive money for, but instead you give it away. You give your spirit away. You give your soul away. You give not your soul, but you give your energy away. Okay? Tobit 1 and verse 3.
This is Tobit 1 and 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the ways of truth and justice, and I did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation who came with me to Nineveh, unto the land of the Assyrians.
Right, so he said that he did alms deeds to his brethren and also people in his nation. Okay, he ain't talking about, you don't let the heathens try and get you. Oh, you gonna volunteer for this? I'm gonna volunteer for that. No. It ain't talking about that. All right? You're gonna do alms deeds, do them for your brothers. Do it for your people. Okay? Ecclesiastes in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 10. But what's another form of alms deeds? You could be doing things for somebody. You can be giving them a ride. Sometimes people need a ride for quite a while. That's alms deeds. Sometimes you can do the watching of children for somebody. That's alms deeds. Yes, women give alms too. Yes, sisters give alms too. Okay. They have an inheritance in Israel. Okay. Now, there was nothing wrong with that question. So Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 10 and verse 19.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine make it merry, but money answereth all things.
Right, so you can enjoy food and get together, and you can even drink wine, but at the end of the day, what the scriptures say, money answereth all things. So we're talking about the type of alms that's financially going to help answer some, not answer, but solve some issues and some problems, okay? All right? All right, so I'm not sure. Remember the talk we had the other day? Would that have been an alms deed because I felt bad about it? I don't know, sis, about a book you was going to give to somebody. Alms is, money, and alms deeds is an action. The book that you was going to give to somebody, that's a gift. You know what I'm saying? It's just a gift. So, did we finish Mark? We got to stay with this. Mark chapter 12. Yeah, Mark 12 and 44.
This is Mark chapter 12 and 44.
Because it's going to describe what type of loss that she took. Go ahead.
For all they did cast in of their abundance.
Right, for everything that they gave, they cast it in of their abundance, meaning the amount that they had. Go ahead.
But she, of her want, did cast in all that she had.
So she gave everything up that she had. And if she had a purse, she went into the purse. And this is an example right here. Who was that? Somebody asked about the woman. Yeah, Judah. This sister, this is a woman right here. She of her want did cast in all that she had. So the 2 mites that she had, at that point she was broke. But she had faith. What y'all got going back there? She had faith. She cast in everything that she had. So is she do a lot better than a lot of us? I believe so. Right. But why did she do it? It says even all her living, but of her want. So she wanted the Most High to change her what? Her state. What type of state was she in? She was in a poor state. And she wanted the Most High to change it. Right. Israel, giving is better to give, the scriptures say. Let's get that. Second Corinthians, you sure?
Oh, that's a sure.
I'm saying Alms. Tobit 12. Tobit 12. Verse 8.
This is Tobit chapter 12 and verse 8. Prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness.
Right, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. So Israel, we want these things. Right, we want these things. We want the Most High to help us, to bless us. We praying, but what are we not doing? Israel, you're not fasting. Are you fasting while praying? Fasting? Okay. Maybe we should. If you're not used to fasting, then you could start with small amounts of time until you build your spirit up. So like if you're not used to, because going from a whole day's process from evening unto evening, which is, so if it's 12 hours in a day, then it's 12 hours in a night. So then you can go, say you go 6 hours. You're not gonna eat or drink, and then you get yourself to praying and everything. You taking baby steps, and then you go another time. You go 9 hours, and then you go 12 hours, different times, and then you keep on until you get to that even to the whole 24-hour time frame of a day. Afflicting yourself, praying unto the Father, and bringing your supplications up to the Father. So prayer is good. We're fasting. Okay, and then it says an alms, and then righteousness, and then applying the scriptures. That's the righteousness right there. It's not the self-righteousness. It's the righteousness that's listed in the scriptures. Can you fast on the Sabbath day? Of course. You can fast anytime. All right. Then it says, read the next part.
A little with righteousness.
Right, a little with righteousness. What is a little? What do you think that little is talking about? The alms. Right, the alms. The little bit that you give is better. Go ahead.
Than much with unrighteousness.
Right, than much. Because some people trust and believe. Some people give much and be unrighteous. To the wrong person, giving of much would do what? To the wrong person, the giving of much will do what? No. Make them covetous? Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm looking for.
It'll be like blowing on itself.
Please ask us 20. Please ask us 20. Please ask us 20 and 29.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 20 and verse 29. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove.
So what does it do? What was the question?
Giving too much to the wrong person.
Giving to the wrong person. Too much. Because remember, what was it? Tobit 12 and 8, it says, a little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. So a person that gives much and they unrighteous, giving that much to the wrong person will do what? According to Ecclesiasticus chapter 20, 29.
Blind the eyes of their judgment.
Judge the eyes of their judgment. Okay, and what else will it do, bro? Right, it'll stop up their mouth that they cannot reprove. I mean, they won't even be correcting you. You don't get it. Anybody else don't get it?
The person that's giving the money ain't gonna correct you.
The person that's receiving the money. You giving money to the wrong person. You might say, for instance, you got money and you giving alms. Like, yo, man, I gave $300. But you know you wicked. You breaking certain laws. The person that's wicked, they're gonna take that money and they're not gonna correct you. Why? Because you're a big spender, man. You give alms. You give that money to them. So they're not gonna reprove you. You might be destroying your beard. Your woman might be in pants. You might be defying the Sabbath day. You might be smoking. You might have the girl with booty shorts on. But the wicked, he ain't gonna correct you. He gonna be telling you, hey, yo, all praises to the Most High. And ain't all praises to the Most High. All praises to the devil. Because whoever sinned it is of the devil. So you sinning, brother, that's of the devil right there. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Y'all sure? So a lot of people in that situation, they giving money and not getting corrected. They're not getting taught. The scripture say, do you spend money for that which is not what? Bread.
Bread.
You giving alms, you ain't even being taught. You building up a wicked house. And Israel be thriving off of that too. All right. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise and stop up his mouth so that he cannot reprove. And so you other brothers, y'all be mindful and watchful for that. Somebody try to give you something. They give you something, buddy or pal, they in sin. Well, are they doing certain things for you? They don't expect you to correct them. Because they doing a favor for you. Be mindful of this, sir. They could be doing it to keep your mouth shut. Okay? So now, let's go back to Tobit chapter 12 and 8. Prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. So all of these things add into your prayer. Fasting, alms, and righteousness. Not just praying unto the Most High. Without fasting, without alms, no righteousness, just praying. Then it says, read the next part.
It is better.
No, a little.
A little with righteousness.
A little with righteousness. You see, so why is the Most High, why does he got that clause in there, the little? Because he knows that everybody, they don't fully understand about contributing. So he's got that clause in there about a little. Okay, well just, yeah, a little. And give a little. Go ahead.
It's better than much with unrighteousness.
Right, he says it's better than much with unrighteousness. Okay, go ahead.
It is better to give alms than to lay up gold.
Right, so we don't lay up gold, but what do we have? Can you get that water for yourself? All right. So you don't have gold, but you got that old bank account. It is better to give alms than to have that bank account. It's written in the scriptures. Before our forefathers didn't. Just imagine, not in America, Israel, we're taking all of our money to Esau to say, hold my money for me. None of this sounds crazy, doesn't it? Can you imagine the people of the Bible, our foreparents, in their time, taking their gold to Esau saying, keep it for me? But we're doing that. They got us. They got us real, real good, man. But outside of that, I'll give you a reason to use the bank account. That way, someone break into your house, they don't run off with your money. Because I definitely don't want you. But hold it, brother, he taught us, not to have a bank account. This is a system. You under a government now. So to function in this world and in this government, you got to play along with it. Okay? You got to play along with it. But this precept we can't get out of. We must give alms. It's better to give alms than to lay up gold. Okay? Read verse 9.
For alms doth deliver from death.
For alms does deliver from death. What does alms do? Alms further the program of the Most High. It furthers the program of the Most High. All right? So now, so if you trying to further the program of the Most High, now it's time for you to be judged. And remember, the wages of sin is death. So instead of the Father destroying you, He said, I'm going to give you mercy. Why? Because you down there helping, furthering the program of other people. His program, and it's helping other people. That's how. So alms will do that. Go ahead.
And shall purge away all sin.
And will purge away all sin. How? This was in the freezer? How would it purge away all sin? Think. This was in the freezer? That's all right. I'm opening now. Come on. Think very deeply. How could the alms purge away all sin? Who are you going to give the alms to? That's right. That's right. That's right. He's right. Listen to what you say.
You're going to be in contact with the person.
You're going to be in contact with the person that you're giving the alms to. And the person that you're giving the alms to are going to do what? They're going to teach you, man. They're going to teach you. They're not just going to take the alms and then shove it into the spot where it goes. They're going to do that. But then they also, you're going to develop a friendship, a companionship, a communication. And when they see that sin on you, they're going to be scrubbing it. You know how you scrub something? You might used to wash those clothes on your hands, take that cloth and do that spot like that. Y'all still doing it? What do you say? Carpet. They're going to be purging. They're going to be cleansing that sin, man. They're going to be using those parables and explaining. Everybody understand that? Okay, is that it?
Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life.
Right. Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. So it seems like the giving of alms brings a protection, defense, access to the Spirit of the Most High. That's in brothers. So in all actuality, the giving of alms is good. That's why the other one said, there can no good come to him that's always occupied in evil, or to him that giveth no alms. Because what is the good? The good, first and foremost, is of the Most High, come from the Most High, but then it's going to come through others to help you out. Read the next one.
Verse 10. But they that sin are enemies to their own life.
What you think that sin is? Not giving alms. So not giving alms is a sin. All right. So Tobit 4. Okay, Tobit chapter 4 and 5. Read that.
This is Tobit chapter 4 and verse 5. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days, and let not thy will be set to sin, or to transgress his commandments, do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not the ways of unrighteousness. For if thou deal truly, thy doing shall prosperously succeed to thee.
So this is Tobit telling his son Tobias what to do and how to live. Go ahead.
And to all them that live justly, give alms of thy substance.
Right. Give alms of thy substance, meaning the stuff that the Father provided, give alms. Go ahead.
And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious.
Right. What do you think that means? And when you give, don't let your eye be what? Envious, meaning what? Covetous. Okay. What they doing with it? Is he gonna do what he say he gonna do, or they gonna do what they say they gonna do? The scriptures say don't let stuff like that enter into your mind. Okay? Let not thy heart be envious. They say heart or soul. I turn away from it. Oh, your eye. Let not your eye. Meaning, I'm wondering where it's going to go. All right? Let not thy eye be envious. Correct. Go ahead.
Neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee.
Right. So brothers and sisters that need help, the scriptures say, don't turn away from the poor, and the face of the Father will not be turned away from you. Go ahead. This is what we read already.
If thou hast abundance, give accordingly. Give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
Right. So by this being Tobit teaching this to his son, this is an example for us to teach this into who? To our sons and our daughters. Go ahead.
For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
You know what? It's a precept I want in the book of Job. Let's see. Job 35. Job chapter 35. And so keep in mind Tobit chapter 4 in verse 9 says, for thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity. How would the giving of alms help me? The Lord says someday you're going to need. Now we're in Job chapter 35 and start at verse 1.
This is Job 35 and verse 1. Elihu spake moreover and said, thinkest thou this to be right, that thou sayest, my righteousness is more than God's? For thou sayest, what advantage will it be unto thee? And what profit shall I have if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer thee and thy companions with thee. Look unto the heavens and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. If thou sinnest, what doest thou against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what doest thou unto him?
Right. So you become wickeder and wickeder. Are you really going to hurt the Most High? Go ahead.
If thou be righteous, what givest thou him?
If you be righteous, what are you giving the Most High? So clearly, the giving of alms, are you truly going to give the Most High anything?
No, sir.
No. Go ahead.
Or what receive receiveth he of thine hand.
Go ahead.
Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art.
So if you wicked, you'll hurt another man. Go ahead.
And thy
righteousness, go ahead,
may profit the Son of Man.
So what is the giving of alms all about? If you have righteousness, what is it going to do? It's going to profit another man, right? So now, when you go back to Tobit chapter 4, and it says, verse 9, for thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against a day of necessity. This day you need something from the Most High. You have been doing the giving of alms. Why is the Most High going to look down, have mercy upon you, and help you? Because the giving of alms did what? The giving of alms, it helped other people. That's what we just showed you. The prophet was never towards the Most High. The prophet was always towards other people. But you got to understand that. You got to know the purpose of giving of alms. Guess what, man? It's going to help somebody else. This is going to help somebody else. So with you understanding that and you always doing that, now it come time when you need something that's greater than man. Who is there to help you? The Most High there to help you, because he's seen that what you've been doing, you have been helping other people. Do you understand? That's why not giving of alms, that's not good right there. Can't no good come to you. All right? So now, let's go back to Tobit chapter 4. Tobit chapter 10.
This is Tobit chapter 4 and 10.
This is heavy here. This next one here, I've seen this in my life. Read the next one.
Tobit chapter 4 and 10. Because that alms, go ahead, do deliver from death.
Right. It can end up saving your life. Instead of the Most High putting you into a situation to where this is the death of you. What is the death of you? Meaning, he push you into a situation you can't recover. Allow you to wander off into a situation you can't be redeemed. Now, it's no helping you. It's no hope for you. Give you over completely to a mind void of understanding. Alms, building and helping. The Most High said, okay, he helped others, 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 he helped others. And he understood. And you struggle because of ignorance, lack of knowledge. What y'all don't understand is Satan do have wiles. And he's smarter. He's smarter than most people lie. The moment we come out the scriptures, or when I say come out, meaning you leave the scriptures, he's smarter than you. The only way that you're going to be smarter than Satan is if you stay in the scriptures. But if you're not in the scriptures, Satan's smarter than you. He's been here longer than you. And all the games that's been played in this earth are his wiles. Those are his games. Just like you go to the amusement park, Six Flags, and you see all the little attractions. That's how the world of Satan is in this world. You got the skee ball, the basketball, the little bowl, and the bumper cars, the roller coasters. You see all the different attractions. So Satan got all those different attractions too. The scriptures call it sin, so you don't like the sin, but you like it when we say, the party. And where the weed at? And where the hoes at? And you hoes be like, where the niggas at? You don't care that y'all call yourself bitches. Yeah, we're a bunch of bitches. Where the niggas at? I don't care about that. All those are wiles of the devil right there. So the Father will not allow you to get off into that, because that is self-destruction. He will not allow you to get off into that if you are fighting the good fight. Say, for instance, you ignorant, meaning you undereducated. That's what ignorance is. You uneducated. And you get caught up with one of his schemes. But your heart naturally is set. You say, man, there's some good in me, and I'm trying, but then Satan, he take advantage of you. He gets you. Just like he was like he got Job. But Job naturally was good. What did the Most High do? The Most High redeemed Job from that trap of Satan. And Elihu was one of the brothers that was sent in to help recover Job. When we read 35, he was reproving Job. And it was only to after a while he truly humbled himself and said, you know what? You're right and I'm wrong, and I have been dealing foolishly. We will have that same spirit to recover ourselves when we have that spirit to where we're concerned about the will and the program and the building of the Lord. But if we're not concerned about Israel as a nation, the Most High will allow us to wander out of this way, and we'll remain in that congregation of the dead because we were unprofitable anyway. So now we at Tobit chapter 4 in verse 10 it says, because that alms it delivered from death and suffer. Did you get to that part? Go ahead.
And suffer not.
And suffer not, and will not allow you, go ahead,
to come into darkness.
Darkness is, I don't know the scriptures no more. I don't know what's right and what's wrong no more. I ain't keeping the command. The spirit is gone. What does that? It's in the same precept. What word is in that precept that will stop you, that will not allow the Most High to push you out into the street and you stay out there like you was a nigger. Like you was a Negro that never was repentant. What word in that precept will stop the Most High from kicking you out? What? You sure?
Yes, sir.
Then give it. Then give it. Alms. But have an understanding behind it. Don't just give to be given. Have an understanding behind it. Know that this is the building of your people, man. This is the building of Yasha Allah. This is the building of the nation. Okay? Know that. Go ahead. Verse 11. Now, before you go, when it says, and suffer not to come into darkness, hey, you'll be in sin, and you will still have that fight. You'll still have that interest. People will bet against you, and you'll still have that interest. You'll be like, man, I got to get right. I got to get myself back. I know that what I'm doing or what I did is the wrong thing to do. And for some reason, the spirit in you, you'll be giving alms, man. Here, baby, put this where it's needed. Put that where it's needed. Put this where it's needed. You'll be giving of alms. When the Most High see that, he knows that in your mind that you actually got taken advantage of. Because Satan is real. Satan is real. And he has the ability to straight blind you and give you hope in something that's false. Go ahead.
Right. So with what's coming out, it's safe to say that's why the rich man went away sorrowful. The parable that Christ gave about the rich man, Christ told him to sell all that he has and give to the poor. So he was minded, and it says because he was sorrowful because he had much possession. So his mind, the thing that was false, that gold and silver. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And in having that spirit of not wanting to give those alms, not giving it, didn't deliver him from death, to where Christ made an example out of him and said a rich man had never entered to the kingdom. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's that spirit that he had that caused him to go into darkness. The Most High not to redeem him out of him.
That right, You're like,
See, you know what? Seeing that he was talking to the King, Lord and Savior, that's a heavy point in that too. And because the brother said you will be void of understanding. That darker than how you void of understanding. So that point is even more, it's heavy because he was talking to the Christ. And he couldn't even gather himself. He went away so.
Okay, so what's that? 4 and 11 now? Tobit 4 and 11.
For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High.
Right. A simple statement. Who's looking at it as good, first and foremost? Right, the Most Highest. The Most Highest. Alms is a good gift unto all that give it. It's not saying in the sight of everybody. Because my opinion of your gift, what if my opinion of your gift is that's not enough?
Right. Yeah.
In the sight of the Most High. Remember how the Most High, the scripture say that the Most High was in Christ reconciling Israel back, right? Mm-hmm. So who was actually looking at the woman that only had 2 mites? The Most High was looking at the woman that only had 2 mites, and in his eyesight, that was commendable and acceptable. Yeah. And that was a good gift. Above all that threw for their abundance, from their abundance into the treasury. Okay? Mm-hmm. Right. So it says in the sight of the Most High. So Israel, your gift in the sight of the Most High is a good thing. That's what y'all have to figure out. Y'all got to realize that this is a good thing in the sight of the Most High. Even you're learning to get those stubborn, squeaky bolts on your elbows to open up. You got to get that arm to open up. You got to get that arm to open up.
Oh, man.
Once you get that arm to open up, that hand is stretched out. And then you open that hand up and be like, here, man. Here you go, brother. Put that into the school, man. All right, yeah, son.
Yeah, that point you just made about is commendable to the Lord and not to man. Because look at Mary. When Mary did the alms deed that she did for Yahushua by, you know what I'm saying, anointing his head with the oil and that good thing she did for him, who was saying that, why are you doing that? Because that could be sold for much. And that could be given to the poor. See? Because she was doing something outwardly for our King, Lord, and Savior. And that's an example of our alms deed. Because she was doing something for Yahushua. But people had opinions. They was opinionated. And they had something to say. But Yahushua had to be like, hold on. Leave her alone. Because she's doing the righteous thing. See? So that was just to add to the example. Because the brother was saying, see, people will have something to say. And that's written in the scripture. In Matthew 26.
Right. Second Corinthians 9. Okay, 2 Corinthians 9 and verse 1, read that.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 1. For as touching the ministering to the saints, it is superfluous for me to write to you.
Right, superfluous meaning it's unnecessary. He shouldn't have to. Right. Okay. because he's writing and he's referring to the touching of money. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For I know the forwardness of your mind, for which I boast of you to them of Macedonia, and to Achaia, that Achaia was ready a year ago, and your zeal hath provoked very many.
Right, because some of these people, they did have money, and in having money, they were givers. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 3. Yet have I sent the brethren, lest our boasting of you should be in vain in this behalf.
Right, because remember, he's talking to them of Macedonia. They had money, and he was letting the others know. Go ahead.
That as I said, ye may be ready. Lest haply, if they of Macedonia come with me and find you unprepared, we say not ye should be ashamed in this same confident boasting. Therefore, I thought it necessary to exhort the brethren that they would go before unto you and make you up beforehand
And make up
beforehand your bounty.
right, your offering. So he was taking a bounty, an offering from the church at Corinth. Go ahead.
Whereof ye had noticed before,
Meaning I told you about it. Go ahead.
that the same might be ready, as a matter of bounty, and not of covetousness. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully.
Right. So remember, the Spirit of Christ, which Paul said he had, is speaking and teaching this, sending the second letter to the church of Corinthians about giving contributions, the same way the Macedonians had been, and that they should set an example, and saying not in the spirit of covetousness. The spirit of covetousness is, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it, or I'm going to do it, but I don't really want to do it, because it said, remember that he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly. Right? So if you barely give, then you're going to barely what?
Receive.
You're going to barely receive. If you don't give at all, then you're not going to what?
Receive it all.
You're not going to receive at all. And that's possibly what's happening to a lot of us. So we got to jump in someplace. Remember, don't jump in and hurt yourself. No one's saying, hey, man, give your rent. Now you don't pay bills. Now you can't pay bills. That's not what you're being taught. We're trying to teach you to get into a good habit of contributing alms through free will offerings based upon your availability, and you're going to reap accordingly. Okay?
Verse 7. Every man according as he purposed in his heart.
Right. However you propose it in your heart, in your mind, that's what you do. Because you got to figure it out. No, don't run with it. Just stay with the giving of alms. Every fast we must do alms. No, it didn't say that. It just said if you did fast, it was good. It gave you a combination of things that was good to do. Okay, so if you giving alms, on a weekly or bi-weekly, on a bi-weekly regimen, then you're gonna be fasting weekly or bi-weekly. You're gonna fast often whenever you feel the need to fast. That's the two different things. Toby just brought out a combination of them happening together. All right, but here it's talking about, where do we stop at? 7. You propose into your heart, meaning you got to put it together. Because while you have it, it's in your power to give. It's a free will. It says, so let him give, not grudgingly. So when would it turn into a grudge? When it's above your thinking. When you like, soon as it stresses you, like, I can't do this. That's when it's grudgingly. So you don't take giving of alms unto that level. Everybody understand what I'm saying? You don't take it into that. You got to bag back down to where it's reasonable and it's acceptable according to your own mind. Unless you feel convicted, you got $1,000 and then you give $1. Then you're going to feel convicted. I mean, and it's just flat out wicked to grudge. Then like, damn, I got to give $1. You like Mr. Scrooge.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You know, you don't want to be like that. It says, or of necessity. So this is a big cut right here. To give because it's of necessity. I see that I'm going to give, but I see you need it. Or I see y'all need it, so I'm going to give. No. You're supposed to be giving, period. Because why? Because the Most High has enriched you. The Most High has blessed you. The Most High has helped you. The ministry has helped you. What, don't you want to support the ministry that's feeding you, that's helping you? You're supposed to. This keeps the lights on. It keeps the boat float. Okay? Without this, what happened? Man,
You ain't gonna be right.
yeah, the place ain't going to be right and you ain't going to be right. All right? It says not of necessity. So don't wait until it's of a necessity to say, hey, I see y'all need it, so I'm going to give. Right, Judah. When you reject anything, that's right. Everybody see that? Or when it says all of necessity, how are you going to know that something is needed? Because the root word of necessity, it spins off of being needed. How are you going to know when something is needed? Because it says not grudgingly or not of necessity, meaning not of necessity. How are you going to know when something is of a necessity?
Because it's announced.
Because, yes, it's announced. Someone said something.
Right.
So you shouldn't wait until we have to say something to say, hey, let me, okay, now let me give. Everybody understand that? Right, because if we were all doing that, then we wouldn't be in the lesson. When we be going through the precepts. So this has affected a lot of us. Because something is being said now. And now you're ready to give. It's accepted, I pray, on the behalf of the Most High. But you shouldn't wait until there's a necessity to open up your bounty and say, okay, let me give. What's up, Victor? Shalom, Ma. Where do we stop at? Read the next part.
For God loveth a cheerful giver.
For the Father loves a cheerful giver. Meaning somebody that's happy about it. Okay? Somebody that's happy about it. Read the next one.
Verse 8. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you.
What is the grace? And God is able to make all grace abound toward you. Okay? What is grace?
Teachers.
Right. Grace does what? Right. So we ain't going to change it now. We ain't going to change it now. Teaching us to deny what? Ungodly lust. Worldly and ungodly lust. Let's get that in Titus. This go hand in hand. You're going to be like, well, How? You see. Titus 2:11.
This is the book of Titus, chapter 2, and verse 11. For the grace of God that bringeth salvation.
Right. So it says, check it out. We're going to go back hand in hand. I'll stand one part and send my man to the other part. So 2 Corinthians 9, and what was that? 8. And God is able to make all grace abound towards you. Because Israel, we're having a problem with offerings. We're having a problem with alms. We're having a problem with the spirit of giving. It says, for God loveth a cheerful giver, for God is able to make all grace abound toward you. Okay, so now Titus 2:11, for the grace of God that bringeth salvation. So in this aspect, what do we need the grace of the Most High to save us from? The hatred to build, the hatred to build, the hatred to give. That spirit is spirit, that spirit of covetousness, that spirit of doing things grudgingly. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
No, right here.
I'm sorry.
Have a period.
Have the period to all men.
Have a period to all men. So in this, the teaching supposed to show you and teach you, and you're supposed to understand it. That's how the appearance of it is. That's how it appears unto you, by you being taught, you being told and showed. Go ahead.
Teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust.
Teaching us to do what?
Deny ungodliness and worldly lust.
My question, what's stopping Israel from giving alms? The answer is in verse 12.
Lust.
Ungodliness and worldly lust, because in your mind, you like, I got to do this and that with what?
Money.
Right. I got to do this and I got to do that with my money. The Most High said, I'm going to teach you that you don't have to do that. But He's going to teach you that you're not going to die if you give, and He's going to show you how to have some later for this, that, and what, the third. But it ain't going to be ungodliness and worldly lust. Okay? Everybody understand? All right. So we can lose the book of Titus. You can check. It's on the banner, so it shouldn't be getting wet. Look at it. I took it out there wet. Shoot. 2 Corinthians 9. Yeah.
2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 8. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work.
You see that? So it still went back to what? The works. Did you get the T2? It was a white T2. Excuse us, we having some little, like we have to wait until sundown to give alms. Just, yeah, it's raining here really hard. Just still with the class, man. That'll happen, brother. I mean, you can give alms at any time. Because it's the Sabbath day doesn't mean that one wouldn't give alms. It's not buying or selling. All right, just put it in the office. Thanks, bro. Did it dry? Pretty much. Okay. So now, 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and chapter 9 and verse 8, it says, and God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that ye always having all sufficiency. Okay. So now sufficiency is a word that's meaning
Enough.
right, enough. Right, enough. So remember, like one of the things I was saying, like, I dealt with one of you know, the younger brothers, the whole idea was to make sure that this brother had what? That he had enough to maintain his life. And that's the spirit of the Most High, right? So it says, so because people will be concerned that, man, I'm not going to have enough. No, man, that's just the spirit of covetousness. You're going to have enough. You're going to be able to make it. It says, in what? In all things. Man, didn't he just say he's going to make it sufficient?
I guess that's cool.
All right. Yeah, Israel is storming out here. I'm surprised we still got this good coverage. It's storming big time. It's gonna stop though. We're gonna make it back out. As a matter of fact, the school do have the cash out. We had to set up. All right. So, but listen, let's stay with this. Pay attention, y'all. Because this is important. It's so important that a lot of people, you get shook. When it comes time for you to give some offering, the first thing you think of is that you're not going to have enough. That's Satan taking your spirit. Because here it says that the Father is able to make all grace abound towards you. That ye always having all sufficiency in all things may abound in every good work. So you giving, what is going to end up happening? The Most High is going to make everything continue to help you out and continue to work, right? As it is written, go ahead.
He hath dispersed abroad. He hath given to the poor. His righteousness remaineth forever.
Right. Go ahead.
Now he that ministereth seed to the sower, both minister bread for your food, and multiply your seed sown, and increase the fruits of your righteousness.
Right. Now he that ministered seed to the sower. So who ministers seed into the sower? The Most High. Right. Well, it comes down to the former, but the Most High give it to us. It says both minister bread for your food and multiply your seed sown. So he's going to be able to help you, although you helping others, and increase the fruits of your righteousness. Verse 11.
Being enriched in everything to all bountifulness, which causeth through us thanksgiving to God.
All right. So we could.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So is that like, you like, scenario, like you ain't got like that good of a job that you offering because you helping somebody else out who helping you, and the help that you get, it leads to you getting a better job, like that.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Because it's something that you missed, like in Tobit, it said, if you have little, don't be afraid to give according to that little. So on the outside of the Most High, it's the principle of the precepts that he's telling them how to do it. So the spirit that you're giving it in is the spirit to help, but it's still according to your power based on the scripture. If you got $50 as a paycheck and you give 3, the Most High like, I got you. Like the sister that gave 2 months. She gave everything. And the Most High took, and the Most High got her too. Because it says she looking to get something in return. So that's what's going to happen. Some better job.
So if you give and you look for something in return, you're going to get something.
If you give, so that's a good question. It's not a bad question. He said if you give and you look for something in return, what'd you say?
If you give and you look for something in return, are you going to get what you're looking for?
Are you going to get what you're looking for?
Yeah.
What you mean you're going to get what you're looking for? What are you looking for?
What? Not nothing in particular, but like something
of a better value.
Okay, so his question was, if you give, looking for something?
Right. Give and you're looking for something in return. But you gave. Are you going to get something in return?
Like a blessing.
Let's say yes. Let's say yes. Because remember the poor woman? When you give it from the heart and don't expect back. Let's go back to Mark 12 it was. Mark 12 and 44.
This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 44. For all they did cast in of their abundance.
For they gave because they had money. So that's the type of person that gives and they're not tripping off receiving because they have abundance. They might have residual income coming in. They might have money to where they have what we say hella profit. They got hella profit. I mean, it's like I sold $2 and I got like $200. You understand? Or I'm being paid $2,500, and you working 3 times a week, and you making $2,500, and then you making like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That's like 10 grand a month. And you might put in a couple hard days here or a hard day there and 2 easy days, and you know what I'm saying? You making that type of money, you have an abundance. You have an abundance. So you give $200-300. You looking at the people that you gave. You looking for them to really make way with that. What can they give back unto you in return? Nothing you giving them. You already feel the Most High is blessing you. That's why you got the $10-something thousand a month. You already looking at the Most High. So that type of person is not looking for more. They are already milking the system that they in. But then on the low state, read the next part. Tell us where you at.
This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 44. Second precept. But she of her want. So that's what you asked about. So I ain't going to take that from you. But she of her want, go ahead. Did cast in all that she had.
But she cast in everything that she had. Why did she cast it all in? Because she wanted something back from who? That's who she gave it to. That's who she felt she gave it to. The Most High. Okay? Everybody understand that? So she would be expecting the Most High to do what? To bless her in return. Okay? So Israel had a question. So giving alms have nothing to do with giving to the poor out on the streets, right? That's another type of alms. But you can give alms. This is my wife hear this. She need to hear this. That's another type of alms, giving unto the poor. Okay? Matthew 26 talks about it. Just briefly mention something like that. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 9.
This is Matthew chapter 26 and verse 9. For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor.
Right. So those the apostles that was talking to Christ. They felt that the ointment that she had given to him, could have been sold and given to the poor. Okay. So now let's go to Malachi. Some would rather give to the poor instead of give to the body. Okay. Okay, so the book of Malachi chapter 3 and it's the body. It's the body that helps the poor. Because most people that's in this world being carnal minded don't know how to judge situations when they're gonna give. You giving your bread and your money, meaning food. You giving your bread until people that are doing what?
Sin.
They doing sin. They're gonna take your money and do sin. They'll take your money and buy cigarettes. I'll just give a real life scenario. I ain't gonna even guesstimate. Real life. I've tried 10 times. And 10 times in a row, 10 for 10, the person was doing what? The person was, they was taking it in wickedness. They was taking it in wickedness. Either doing drugs or buying alcohol and cigarettes with it. 10 for 10. I remember 1 out of the 10 times we were in a grocery store, or not grocery store, but we was in a super center. And some woman had she had a sob story about her house burned down and stuff like that. While talking and running game, I mean, I had people in line ready to just try and, help her out. So another person, and I was in the bank, so there's a bank was in the store. So I started talking to another person, their business owner. I said, well, hey, let's get together and help this woman out. She said her house burned down, this, that, and the third. Well, she was running game. So in the midst of the conversation, she didn't know that I was talking to another business owner about trying to help her out. She pulls out a cell phone. Cell phone rang, and then she started explaining how, she's going to, how she's running this lick and give her a minute. She didn't say lick. I got to put it in my words because it's been a minute since it's happened. So this woman, me and Kasai took this girl into the store and took her shopping. We was buying her stuff. And then after getting her this stuff, because I had already committed, so okay, I'm gonna help you. But she tried to manipulate us on what she wanted to get. She was trying to get some pricey items so that she could do her thing. So then she turned around and she asked for the receipt. I'm like, well, no. Why do you need the receipt? So we're like, no, I need to keep the receipt for for my own personal records. She was like, okay. So we wasn't finished doing our business. We saw her get somebody else the same way. We saw her get somebody else the same way by having them purchase something, and then we saw her in line in the returning the people's stuff that had bought her something. That's just one. I can call you down 10 events, 10 for 10. That's how people are in the street. So you kind of got to really be careful with in the streets. Let's see how Peter now responded to that. Go to Acts. Acts chapter 3. Acts chapter 3, it should be 6, it is. Acts chapter 3, and you start 1.
This is Acts chapter 3 and verse 1. Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the ninth hour. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple.
Right, so he was a common beggar, and he could not walk. And he was born like that. And they always laid him right there. At this point, he's a man. And he knew where he wanted to be. Now, where did he lay? Right there at the temple. Why? Because people, they like to try and take advantage of us because they figure that we're going to, first time, you start talking about the Bible. We out there with the Bible, it's like the poor of the land, they come up. Now they figure that they're going to take kindness for weakness. They want to tell you about their children that are at home. The one brother, remember the one brother, we gave him a few waters, now he wanted a case of water. Now he didn't literally want a case of water, but he started telling us, I'm going to take a water to my children and my mother. I just gave him the waters. People come up, hey, can you feed me? You don't just walk up to the average person on the bus stop and you like asking them and you handling them like that. They take kindness for weakness. So they prey on you, Israel. They will prey on you because they figured, okay, your heart is going to be softened because God is in the midst of you. All right? But they themselves are hardened. That's why they're in that situation. Okay? So you just got to know how to judge the situation. If not, you will be buying methamphetamines, and you'll be buying a blunt, and you'll be buying Black and Miles, and you'll be buying Smirnoff vodka, and you'll be buying sin for them. Okay? Verse 3. No, did you finish? 2? So a certain man lame from his mother's womb, Acts 3 and 2, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple. Go ahead.
Who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms.
Right, so he saw the apostles, Peter and John. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, look on us.
So they told him to look on us. Hey, man, look at us. Okay, you see how they handled him? Look at us. Go ahead.
And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them.
Right, so people out there, they be expecting to receive something from you. Go ahead.
Then Peter said, silver and gold have I none.
What?
Silver and gold have I none.
I don't have any money to give to you. I don't have any money to give to you. So when we're out and these people are approaching us like that, a lot of times the Spirit is not moved in us to give them money. Now this person might be, how do you say it? The less of the greater evil or something like that. Yeah. But he said, silver and gold have I none. I don't have any money to give to you. Meaning I'm not giving you any money. Go ahead.
But such as I have, give I thee.
But that I do have, I am going to give to you. So then what do? Then we turn and we give them what we do have. And what do we do have? We have the solution to the problems that you have. Now, unfortunately, for our people, that's not going to change immediately their current state. That's between them and the Most High. If they move upon it, the Most High in a moment is able to do what? Raise the base up from that. But that is going to be based upon what? Your situation. You see people walking around a gas station carrying what's that thing called? A gas can. Telling, yo, my car is over there. My car is over there. That's one of the oldest games right there. My car is over there. Give me a few bucks for some gas. Circle back around and see if he ever go to a car. He gonna never go to a doggone car. He gonna walk down the street with that can, man. And here it is. Neither is he gonna ever put any gas in it. But he knows that you are going to walk off. Another story. I'm running into work. I go into the Family Dollar right around the corner. So they know how to get you. Brothers say, hey man, I'm hungry, man. Buy me some chips or something. I say, okay. I'll go in there and buy some chips. Come out, give it to him. He didn't say nothing. I jump into the truck. Before I load my stuff, I get into the truck, I'm pulling up. He's already at somebody else's window and hustled them to buy the chips from them to give him cash. And I hadn't even pulled off the lot yet. So I drive off and I turn, I say, wait a minute, I bag up. I said, man, why'd you do me like that? I said, you told me you was hungry and asked, but I didn't like them chips. I got this from her. I'm going to walk down there and get me a hamburger. I said, all right. Israel, man, got all different type of schemes and scams. I know a lot of you feel guilty when you see them out there. You feel guilty. But you just got to try and be a good judge of whatever character or that you presented with. And if the spirit, the spirit move you. Brothers and sisters that helping them, that's first and foremost. But Israel in the street, I ain't gonna never tell you to deny them. I'm gonna tell you to try to be a judge of whatever character that you see at that time. And experience is one of the good teachers. But I'm telling you, they winning out there and I'm losing. Because they get me every time. Oh, remember in the camp last week, the woman stood out there with the dress on and some Jake was with her, rode up with a bike. You remember that older woman with the glasses?
Yeah.
I saw her the other day selling waters or something. I bought something from her and I had cold water on the back. I did it because she's trying to make something for herself, Something like that you ain't going to feel bad about, They trying to do something. You're going to try and spend something with people. That's still giving over your money. I didn't need the thing, but, there was a way. But it's just kind of hard to put your hard-earned money in somebody's vein, man. It doesn't rest well. So you just got to feel comfortable, You just got to feel comfortable with the situation that you're doing. And if you get beat enough, then you're going to get sharper too. You're only going to get sharp by you getting beat. All right? So that's it with Acts. Are we finished with this? Or do we need this? Malachi 4. I hope I'm answering the question out. Yeah. So let's be through with that and deal with the next topic. Israel, and you can't run from it. You got to give alms. You can't run from it. So building in Hamashiach Yahushua. Somebody had something? Oh, okay. Before we move on, y'all brothers had anything? So Israel, we have to build in Christ. Okay? We have to build in Christ. And building in Christ consists of, like what we read the other day in Zephaniah, coming together. Okay? We definitely can get that. Grab that real quick.
This is Zephaniah chapter 2. And verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right, Israel, so you have to gather together. Okay, so once you gather together, then you're going to begin to grow together. You're going to be able to have a place of worship. Let's get Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah chapter 29 and verse 4.
This is Jeremiah chapter 29 and verse 4. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
Right, so listen to what he's going to say. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Build ye houses.
Right, it says build houses. Okay, build houses. Everyone that the Father has called to be carried away into Babylon. Okay, America's known in the Bible as Babylon. So Israel, you have to build houses. Go ahead.
And dwell in them.
And dwell in the houses. Go ahead.
And plant gardens.
The Lord said plant gardens. You know, for us to have worked in the field, the Lord said, cursed should I be in the field, and we were. We had to work those fields. You know, right now you can't even keep a flower alive. You won't even plant a flower. We the children of some people that built America up. Got it up and going. Now all you see is the forestry and the tractors. They don't want you to know how to plant anything. But it's in you. You just got to be willing to get those hands dirty and stuff like that. It's a lot of things that you can plant and you can grow. You can grow your own vegetables, tomatoes, onions and peppers, and the stuff that tastes good too. That'll save money. That'll save money at the grocer on certain things. Trust and believe. Every dime help. In every city, you know, there's property to be purchased. You can purchase lots, and you can plant and build gardens on those lots. Some of the best greens I had came out of somebody's small garden. Greens so far, I couldn't believe it. They just grew them to grow them. They just grew them to grow them. But when I tasted it, my wife says, I said, oh, don't tell her how good them greens was. She won't give them away, just take them all. We'll get them and freeze them. Those greens was fire. It kind of was turnip greens or mustard green. Collard. Who? Kale greens. It was good. Kale greens. So as you got to plant gardens, go ahead.
And eat the fruit of them.
And eat the fruit of them. So not only, so, you know, we got to establish ourselves. Not only do we have to build these houses, but we also have to build sanctuaries too. That's a building process. You got to build places of worship. You don't have the money to have these big old churches. Oh, mega churches way off, so we ain't even thinking about that. But then just the regular little buildings, you don't have that money either. Because we come from a lower estate. But we do have the means to build on small scales. And building on small scales, now all you need is the intellect on how to put that thing together. And we here in St. Louis have a blueprint on how to do it. Because we've done it here. You can take that average place, and brothers that has been out here know. Y'all see the setup? This is not hard. You know what keeps this thing going? Our contributions. In the beginning, brothers and sisters might not see it. Y'all might didn't see it. But I know. I said, Israel, this is going to work. You can find a house. You can find a house and open the floor plan up. Just open the interior walls up. You got a kitchen, a couple bathrooms, the basement outside, and that's a wrap. And now it's going to belong to y'all. You don't have to have no commercial building. And you do it right there. But it's got to start with somebody being fervent in spirit. It's got to start with that one flame, man. You just need that one spark. That one spark going to start it all. It's going to ignite a fire. And that's why you cannot let that spirit go out. And you build off of that. But you can't do it free, man. You can't, and y'all brothers out there, you can't just do it all the time. You can't do it at your house. Say, for instance, you know, you got a brother and his wife come through, that's fine. But you can't do that forever because other brothers and sisters, they're going to want to come by. Now, you going to open your door up to any old body? You ain't going to be able to do that. Because the scriptures say don't do that. Don't just open your house and your doors to any old body. So as you got to build. Verse 6.
Take ye wives.
Right. Get married. Take wives. In order to get wives, you got to learn how to get a wife. You got to be taught how to get a wife. Where you going to learn how to get a wife from without the sanctuary? Let's go, hold this and go to the book of Psalms. Where is that? Where I want? Yeah. Psalms chapter 73 and 16.
This is Psalms chapter 73 and verse 16. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me.
Right. You don't know how to do certain things. But David said, when I thought to mean and understand, he said it was too much for me. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of God.
So he had himself. Why would David go into the sanctuary of the Most High? To learn. He had been making mistakes. He had been doing things wrong. He had been going off. And the Most High was judging him. So you're building houses, planting vineyards. Israel, you're trying to marry wives. You're trying to continue your life. You're getting jobs, but you're making mistakes. So we need these sanctuaries. This is the building. This is the building of the Most High. Until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High. Go ahead.
Then understood I therein.
Not only their end, but his own end. That's the only way that you're going to understand is the moral of the precept. You need a sanctuary to understand. Let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 29.
Jeremiah chapter 29
and 6.
And verse 6. Take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters.
Right, and have children. You're going to need to learn how to deal with the children. You learn that from the sanctuary, at the sanctuary. This is how you build. We got to do this for ourselves. Nobody's going to do this for us. Go ahead.
And take wives for your sons.
You're going to have to learn how to do what? Advise your what? Children. You're going to learn how to advise your sons. That's what Tobit was telling his son Tobias in the 5th chapter. You can't do this without the commandments of the Most High in Christ. You can't do this on your own. This knowledge ain't just there. This knowledge is something that's taught. We went wrong and got it wrong because we had parents that did not have the knowledge. They didn't have what? A sanctuary. They had what? A pagan church.
Right.
And the pagan church taught them the same things that it was based upon. Wickedness and lies. Okay, go ahead.
And give your daughters to husbands.
And give your daughters to husbands. The sanctuary is going to teach you how to look, what type of man to give your daughters to. The scriptures teach us about that. Go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. You know what I want?
7:25.
Right. Ecclesiasticus 7 and start at 24.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 24. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding.
Where you going to find a man of understanding at? In the sanctuary. Well, if you don't build a sanctuary, then it ain't no sanctuary for you to choose from. If you're not part of a sanctuary, then you can't make a choice in the sanctuary to say, hey, I would like to see my daughter with this type of brother. You understand? So a sanctuary is necessary. If not, you headed for self-destruction. Your daughter gonna end up being a lesbian. She gonna end up being a whore. Or she just gonna flat out rebel in life. She gonna have some prideful, her own mind. She gonna do what she wanna do. And the only thing to tame that is the commandments of the Most High. See, how you gonna do it without a sanctuary? You need a sanctuary. You need a place of worship. You need a place of fellowship. Because in that fellowship, in that sanctuary, this is what you're gonna find. Go to the book of Malachi. Malachi chapter 2 and verse 6.
This is Malachi chapter 2 and verse 6. The law of truth was in his mouth.
Right, you're going to find the law of truth in the man of understanding in his mouth. You're going to find laws of truth. That's the type of person that you want to give your daughter to. Somebody that's going to, what? Deal in truth. Go ahead.
And iniquity was not found in his lips.
Right, and wickedness, sins, is not found in his lips. So if it's not found in his lips, it's not where else? In his mind. It's not going to be in his mind. Go ahead.
He walked with me in peace and equity.
Right, so if he walked, so this is the original Levi, but then the son of Levi was supposed to be like this. So now the spirit of the Father being in us will be like this, and we'll be walking with the Father in peace and what? In equity. Go ahead.
And did turn many away from iniquity.
So now he developed himself to be what? A leader. This is the type of person that you want to give your daughter to. That way, you can rest assured that her life is what? In Christ. And she's building. And she's doing good for herself. Not she's out in the streets and in the world making all the decisions for herself. That's not, you know, that's not going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel terrible. Verse 7.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Right, so all Israel, all the men, listen up, all the men, the scriptures say you're going to be what? Kings and priests unto the Most High. So you ain't married your daughter off to a man of understanding in the sanctuary that you help establish and you help build and you help support. And now you have the confidence that what? He has the knowledge of the Bible. That's the knowledge the scriptures say. Give her to a man of understanding. Go ahead.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
And others come to get laws from him. They come to say, hey, I need help. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? As a father-in-law or mother-in-law, that should help you feel proud of your son-in-law. Go ahead.
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
What type of man would you marry your daughter to? He is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. Everybody understand that? So that's the benefit of the sanctuary. You have to do this thing. That's building right there. Nobody's going to do this for you. If you leave it up to the nations, they're going to corrupt you. They're going to say, hey, come to Baptist church. Come to Seventh-day Adventist church. Come to Catholic church. Come be an atheist. Get into Islam. Get into Muslim. They're going to tell you to do everything but what the Bible tells you to do, what the word of the Most High tells you to do. So now you got to think about that. You got to rethink your strategy and say, hey, how has things been going? Without the scriptures, down here, with the scriptures, without, with. If you with the scriptures and you follow the scriptures and obey the voice of the scriptures, which is the word of the Most High, you're going to abound into every good work. But without it, man, tribulation and persecution upon every soul that doeth evil. It ain't going to go well with you. It's just going to finish. And most people think that, well, life is going to change. Things are going to change. I'm going to rebound. It can't stay like this forever. It will stay like that forever. And you will always be oppressed. How does Scripture say? Crushed and oppressed always. Deuteronomy 28. It's no joke. See it?
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 33. The fruit of thy land.
No, just start at the end where it says 33, the latter precept, and thou.
Deuteronomy 28:33, last precept. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Right, so you have expectations. See, this is a part of the curse. You will have expectations for things to be one way, but the Lord said, no, man, thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Read the next one.
So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
Right. It won't end up like you expected. Without this sanctuary, Israel will be in the world not having hope. What's that precept you used earlier? Wisdom of Solomon 3. Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 3. You have expectations for your children. Man, they will turn out to be something else. Some of you might be so proud at heart to where you won't even acknowledge the failure of them and the great disappointment of them. Okay? What was it? Wisdom of Solomon 3 and
18.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. 17.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and 17. For though they live long, yet shall they be nothing regarded.
The Lord said, they might live long. What's long? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, like here, 35, 36. The Lord said, they ain't going to be nothing regarded. They lived to be that. At that point, they headstrong. Oh, they got loose from you. They grew away from you. Because you had an opportunity to do what? To help build up your people and come together in Christ. You said, I didn't want to do that. That's where Hosea 4 come in at. It says, they shall be nothing regarded. Go ahead.
And their last age shall be without honor.
And their last age shall be without what?
Honor.
Shall be without honor. Okay? Meaning, something happens unto them. Well, before we get to something happens, you sitting up there looking at the accomplishment of them, and they didn't achieve anything in their life. They didn't go to school. They didn't finish school. They have no skill. They have no talent. You don't have no skill. You don't have no talent. You end up out on the streets. You hear bad things. You see bad things about them. They might be hooked on drugs. They might turn into an alcoholic to where they need to drink constantly. Y'all don't think that these people that y'all see that stand out in the corner, they stand out in the corner so long they should have what type of job? I'm gonna let y'all answer this. They stand out there so long, what type of job they could possibly have?
Holding the sign
Holding the
for the business.
holding the sign up, okay. Sign job.
Traffic driver.
Directing traffic. No, they got the street light for that, man. Security job. You understand? Watchmen. They watch the city all day, man. These people be out there rain, sleet, snow, shine. They sit in the cut. They be standing there all day. You come in the morning, you go to work, you come back in the evening, they still there. All glossy from the oil that, was in their head and run down upon their face. Look, they baking like chicken. They just basing, man. All day. The thing is, and we're laughing, it ain't just one. It's a multitude of people. And they all throughout every city. You Israelites, they Israelites. So now, you ready for this? The thing is that they are somebody's children.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, they somebody's children. And they aged. A lot of them, they not 13 and 14 years old. Every time I see one of them, I have to remind my children. I say, hey, you see that? I ain't talking crap on them. You don't want to end up like that. You better make sure you keep listening. If you don't listen, you might as well get you a piece of cardboard and take the stiff part of it and start writing the same old shit that they writing on it. God bless you. I'll take whatever you can, because you're going to be right out there with them if you don't take heed to what's being done. Where are they being taught not to, but to listen and not to let their mind go astray? In the sanctuaries that the Father is telling to build. Those are people's children. And they ain't no babies. Them people 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, 50-something. You look even harder. 50-something, 60-something. Yeah. You look even harder. They out there. You just moving too fast because you don't care. But slow your mind down. Be concerned about your people. You're going to notice every crack and crevice in the city. You're going to be like, this is wrong the way that we have to live. This is off. Then you're going to see the people. And then you're going to be wondering, these my people. How did we get to this? How did it come to this situation that we in? Why is it like this? Because we had a chance to choose good and evil, right and wrong, and we made the wrong choice. Their parents made the wrong choice. Are you, as a young adult or a parent, are you going to make the wrong choice? Don't build a sanctuary and see where your kids be at, your children. See. And don't get involved in the building of the assembling and the gathering together of your people and see you seeing the future, because that position is stay open. One die, another one pop up. You ever walk through the stroll or drove past the stroll or the neighborhood stroll because it used to be fancy, it ain't fancy no more. Or they thought it was fancy. You used to have to be cute to be a hoe. You used to have to be somebody to be out there in the streets. You don't have to be somebody. You don't have to be looking good. Fall on Skid Row. Just get kicked out of the house. You're going to have to hold it eat. You're going to have to. You're going to get hooked on drugs. You're going to be out there. That's what happens, man. That's what happens. And you ain't got to look. Oh, they ain't wearing stilettos and 6-inch heels and all of that and fancy clothes. That's the TV that's fooling y'all. They wearing the same clothes for weeks. The only thing that clean them up is once they get caught stealing or burglaring or something. Or they get caught with some drugs and the police put them in jail. Then they get institutionalized and they ain't giving you no dope in there. Then you might sober up and get clean. Don't take that much. But all of this is happening because Israel is not building like the Most High said to build. He said gather together. That means we need to come together. He said build houses and live in them. Fix your house up. Live in the house. Plant vineyards. Okay. Start growing you some stuff. You ain't listening though. You just take all your money out of the community. You could plant some of that stuff. You studied everything else. You went to school, learned how to be Joe the plumber. Took you 8 years to do that, but you can't plant a vineyard. Now it takes some heavier things, the building of a family. Weightier things, the building of a family. And so now you need instructions with that. You can't get those instructions off the block because the block is going to tell you to go after anybody that look at you. And that's not how you live. You got to go off these instructions of the scriptures. That's the true building in Christ. All right, what is this somebody said? Yeah, bro, this truth is marching on. All right, so we're at Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3:17. For though they live long, yet they shall be nothing regarded, and their last age shall be without honor. So you see all of that. You see that the last of their age, they get up there in age. Don't you know if we see them when we drive by, who else see them? They people see them. I pointed some men out. I pointed some men out. Well, one of my sons, remember, Sean, we saw that guy kind of hurt me, man. I was young, growing up in the streets. And this dude, man, it was so hot. It had to be like 99 degrees, man, 100 degrees. This dude was sitting on the bus stop, man. He just there with a can of beer. The sun was baking him. I pulled up on him. Mike, what's up? He couldn't even see. Had me understand then a little bit what Jacob went through, his eyes going dim. I'm looking out the window. I said, what's up, Mike? You don't remember me? No, man. I said, get up and come see. He come to the window. T. Oh, is that you? No. Wait, is that you? Oh, no. He was all bugged out, man. I said, what you doing? Oh, man, I'm just here. He gonna be about 60. No honor, man. He just basting in the sun. Nothing to do, man, with a beard. Sitting on the bus stop. I said, brother, don't you know it's hot out here? Why are you on the bus stop? He said, I ain't got nothing to do, man, but just think. He said, you know, I lost my niece, this, and that. I said, all right, man. I said, well, don't sit out here too long because it's hot, man. I don't want to see nothing happen to you. People spend their... And, you know, if I drive by and see him, then another son, we're driving. You remember this? I asked you, I said, how would you like it if that was me sitting over there? We drove past those guys. They were just sitting, right? Yeah. It was another hot day, but they had bushes and stuff behind them. They was up in the cut drinking. I said, how would you like it if that was me? If I just gave up on everything and now I'm just out here. And people be like, man, I seen your daddy down there and he was drunk. Now I'm the neighborhood drunk. I said, how would you like that? He said, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't say nothing to you. I say, what, you little booger, you wouldn't say nothing to me? No, I wouldn't say nothing to you. You see, so that's no honor. So you'll feel like disconnected because now I wouldn't have honor. But guess what? If we saw those same men and we see the same women driving by Don't you think their mothers see them?
Yeah.
Their mothers see them. Their fathers see them. Their sons, their daughters see them. They do. Now, do you want to see your sons and your daughters like that? Then you better get to building. You better get to drill. Get the hammer. And you got to get the building. Get the building. Because if you don't, you're subject to see the dishonorable part and the judgment down upon your seed. All right. The next verse, Wisdom of Solomon 3:18.
Or if they die quickly.
Or if they die quickly. So I'm saying they wicked. They wicked and they hurt other people. Because some people abuse what? Themselves. And run themselves down the drain with just drugs and alcohol. They ain't murdering nobody. They ain't selling dope. They probably be using it, abusing themselves. But they ain't too much breaking and how damaging other people. So that's when you will see they spirit, the Most High will just, they won't have no honor. But then you have some that are just wretched, oppressive. And the Lord had to kill them, man, because they wicked. Toting guns, shooting people, fornicating, defiling the young girls, all types of. So the Most High will have to kill you. You died 16, 17, 18, 19, 22 years old. Own up a little bit. You die quickly, or if they die quickly, go ahead.
They have no hope.
They have no what?
No hope.
They have no hope. So they don't have a chance with the Most High. Yeah, they stand before the judgment seat of the Christ. They ain't gonna have no hope. So our children that's not in Christ, they have no hope. Who love them? We love them. But the Most High hate them. He hates them. Why? Because they chose what type of lifestyle? They chose the world. And they're not choosing the Most High. So he's not going to choose them. Go ahead.
Neither comfort in the day of trial.
Neither comfort. So there's nobody that's going to be able to do what? Pep talk them or comfort them, pat them up. I know, baby, it's going to be okay. It ain't going to be none of that. You know how you ever wanted to, stand and hold somebody accountable just by a mere conversation? And they don't want to do it. Do you understand what I'm asking? Do you like to talk about the stuff that you did wrong? So you don't want to be accountable. The Lord said, hope. This is the point. You got to see it. Like I can come to you and I could want to talk to you about all the wickedness that you've done wrong. And straight expect you to completely humble yourself to be like, yeah, I did this wrong and this wrong and this wrong and now this. You have an opportunity to do that now while you're alive. But you don't want to do that. These are children that don't want to do that, because if they do that, then their deeds should be reproved, and they don't want to be reproved. So in the day of trial, they have no comfort. Ain't nobody going to be able to pep talk them and tell them, okay, it's okay, you forgiven. It's going to be okay. Or let's pick up and move on from now. It's too late. It's too late. If we don't want to see that day for our children, we will build a congregation. We will build sanctuaries. And we would dwell in those sanctuaries, and we would bring our children up in these sanctuaries and teach them from the sanctuaries what to do and what not to do, and then spend and dedicate our life to the upraising and the upbringing of our children. Most people don't understand, when you begin to lay down and have children, The Lord say, even taking a woman, you begin to thrive. So beginning to thrive, you're taking upon that work, the children, that's a responsibility. You're no more living for yourself. You're living for the children. You gave that freedom, that life up. When you begin to lay down and have sex, you're planting seeds. Who plants seeds and don't expect them to grow? You plant seeds for the sole purpose of them to grow. You say, I'm ready for this responsibility. I'm through with this. I'm through with that. What is this and that? Being single, being selfish. You know, I'm on a bicycle. It's all about me. I got a studio apartment. We're going to make it like not sin. I got a bicycle, studio apartment, part-time job. So those things right there, those things are going to be multiplied. Instead of a bicycle or a scooter, now it's a van, caravan, minivan. Instead of a studio apartment, now it's 3-bedroom house. What was the other thing?
Part-time job.
Instead of part-time job, it's a full-time job now. You see how your life drastically changed? You was once fending for yourself, but now you're providing for a family. That's going to change when you start dealing. Is that it? For verse 19.
Verse 19. For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation.
For horrible is the end of the what?
Unrighteous generation.
Of the unrighteous generation. Do we want our children to be unrighteous? No word, no way. If you don't want that, we're going to have to build. We're going to have to build. Okay? And our extended family, our extended brothers and sisters, the Most High expect y'all to build with us until y'all become what? Full age. Let's go to 1 Peter. Not 1 Peter, it's going to be Hebrews. Hebrews 5 and verse 12.
This is Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12. For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again.
Where are you going to find the teachings at? Keep saying it. In the congregation. In the sanctuary. Go ahead.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
The first principles. This is the principle thing. They're going to tell you this is basic. This is the main thing that you do. You don't do this and you don't do that. First of all, you don't, no, don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. Do this. So you got some understanding of who you are, but with that understanding, you know, or with that precept, that wisdom, you got to get understanding. The first principles of the oracle of God. Go ahead.
And are become such as have need of milk.
You need some milk. So you need milk. So you have to have someone teach you again. So our extended family out there, you got to be a part of this sanctuary until you begin to grow. You're going to always be a part of this sanctuary. And the Most High would then add brothers to you. Say, for instance, you in Florida, brother in Florida, you want to learn and grow. And then the Most High bring another brother. Then right there in Florida, the Most High is building because now you are mind instructed. Right there in Florida, you are mind well instructed. And then now, a threefold cord is not easily broken. Now it's 3 brothers. Now it's 4 brothers. It ain't never going to be about you. Like this here ain't never about us. This is always the scriptures, always about the Most High and Yahweh Shai. Because it's the Most High, it's Christ, and then it's the body of Christ, which is the members. the followers, the believers. So you don't need, read the next part, and not
of strong meat.
You don't need strong meat. Okay? You think that I can ask, or I want to understand anything from cover to cover? That's no, not anything from cover to cover. The scriptures say, but what is commanded thee, think upon with reverence. How you want to understand something outside of something that you're not even applying? Read the next one.
Verse 13. For everyone that is
useth
milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Right. You don't understand how to deal righteously with the scriptures and with others. You're unskillful. Go ahead.
For he is a babe.
Another word for babe is novice, beginner. Someone that's new to applying. You might not be brand new to the faith, but you are new to what? This thing of humbling yourself to fully apply. Go ahead.
But strong meat belonging to them that are of full age.
Right, meaning they have perfected the things that the Most High has given to them. Go ahead.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Right. Okay, so I hope we understand that we have a habit of perfection, having their senses exercised to tell what's right and what's wrong. And until brothers get unto that level, you know, brothers should not be seeking, I'm going to start a school. You? Okay. Not the Most High. You know how long that be working? About 2 months. And then next thing you know, brothers not together no more. Because they disagree on what the scripture. So is that it in Jeremiah? Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29 and 6 again.
This is Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 6. Take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
Right. See that operation of the Lord there? That you may be increased there and not diminished. What would diminish Israel as a nation? The breaking of the laws will be destroyed. What will increase us? The keeping of the laws. Okay, go ahead.
And seek the peace of the city.
And seek the peace of the city. Why would the Most High bring peace? Because the teaching of the laws. Okay, go ahead.
Whither I have caused you to be carried away captive.
Right, so why is Israel saying that in the place of your captivity, you should not be trying to keep the commandments? That makes no damn sense. We got here for breaking the commandments. Now we're here. We're supposed to keep them. The Lord said, seek the peace of the place. Seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried captives. Go ahead.
And pray unto the Lord for it.
And pray for it. Now, if we're in sin, the scriptures say, now we know that God heard not sinners. So if we're in sin in the city that the Most High has carried us captives, is he going to hear us just because we pray? The answer is no. The only way the Father's going to hear us is if we turn from sin. If their uncircumcised hearts be what? Turned, humbled. And then they accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I hear it. In the place where he carried us captives. Let's get that. Leviticus 26. Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 40.
This is Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers, with their trespass which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled.
In the land of the enemies, if we're humbled. See, go ahead.
And they did accept of the punishment of their iniquity. Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land.
Go ahead.
Verse 43. The land also shall be left of them.
Need a charger, iPhone charger. Go ahead.
And shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes.
So why did Israel end up in that situation? Because we hated the commandments. Now people are saying, you don't have to keep these commandments, and we're in captivity. All right. This is why this happened. Go ahead.
Verse 44. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. So
what would we have to do? Our uncircumcised hearts would have to be humbled. We'd have to come back into these laws, statutes, and commandments. And we can't do that in Christianity. You can only do this, Ezekiel 11, you can only do this in places of the Most High that He gonna put together. Ezekiel 11, chapter 14.
This is Ezekiel chapter 11 and verse 14. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel wholly, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, Get you far from the Lord. Unto us is this land given in possession. Therefore say, Thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
Right, so what did the Lord say? He said He's going to be unto us a little sanctuary. Where at? In all the countries. So amongst all the four corners of the world, you're going to see assemblies popping up saying that, hey, I'm an Israelite. We got to keep these commandments. We got to keep these laws. And in those places, you have to build. You have to build these small sanctuaries. Okay? That's building right there. You can't just be at home by saying, I'm going to do this at home. Okay? I'm going to do this at home and forget the assembling of yourselves together. Hebrews chapter 10 and 26 or 7. Hebrews chapter 10 and start at 22.
This is Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 22. let us draw near with a true heart, in full assurance of faith.
Right. Let us do it because we believe. Go ahead.
Having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. Let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
Right. Remember, we talked about the brotherly love and preferring one another. We talked about that on Thursday. Here it says, let us consider one another to provoke one another. You can't provoke somebody if they're not there, or if you're not there. Verse 25.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
Right there. We have to assemble. You cannot forsake the assembling of yourselves. So any brother or sister that is not assembling yourself is breaking the commandments. Is breaking the commandments. Okay? Now, if you don't have a congregation in your city, you are assembling yourselves right now here in this class. And you should desire to want to be in this class. But if you can't, because you're long distance, that I ain't saying that that's breaking the law and that's wicked. This is assembling yourselves. Okay? But if in your mind you're like, oh, I'm not going to belong to no congregation, I'm not going to be a part, you're saying that I'm not being a part of Israel. Because what's going to happen is the Most High in Christ is going to gather all these little assemblies together. And then there's you. And it doesn't work like that. You must be a part of Israel. You must be a part of this thing. Because being a part of this thing is going to cleanse you from your own mind. Because being by yourself, you have established a way of righteousness that makes sense to you and only you. And that's what you got to get out of. Okay? Go ahead. But
not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is.
Right. What manner? This is the manner that I'm going to live by. I'm going to be by myself. Right. That's the manner that you have people living in. Go ahead.
But exhorting one another.
But exhorting one another. So you'd have to bring your experience and your life to the table. What has the Most High showed you? Have you learned anything during your lifetime? Okay, the Most High showed me that I should not do this. He showed me I should not do that. He taught me this lesson. He taught me that lesson. And everything is not bad. Oh, the Lord has also helped me. I kept the faith. I did this. I did that. And this is the product of what thus says the Lord. So with that being said, all of that life experience, when you read Ephesians 4, the scriptures say every joint supplied. Now this is your joint. This is the brick. You're the joint. You're the mortar that keeps this building together. Brick by brick by brick. You're the mortar that's in there. But you can't have that type of mannerism about yourself. Oh, I ain't going to be involved with that. I ain't about this congregation. I ain't about that. And you know what? A lot of people, you do that because you get carried about with different and diverse winds. And so you got so much different teachings going on in your mind. You got 10,000 teachers in Christ. You got all these teachers in Christ. It's to the point to where you say, well, I'm not going to be a part of this congregation. You can't do that. You have to make a choice. But choose wisely. Choose Christ. If you see Christ there, fine. Do it. But you better believe that they better be in the scriptures. Because if not, what are you going to learn? You're going to learn some evil ways. You're going to learn some evil ways. And it's going to cost you in the long run. Okay? Is that it?
And so much the more as you see the day approaching.
Right. Okay. So, Ecclesiasticus. .34. In verse 9.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and verse 9. A man that had traveled knoweth many things.
Right. A man that have traveled knoweth many things. Okay. In order to in order to learn, sometimes, brothers and sisters, y'all gonna have to travel. Okay. Read the next part.
And he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
And he that have much experience and Slakia, and he that have much experience will do what? Will declare wisdom. So let's get an example of like maybe Paul and how he traveled, okay? And he himself, he gained experience. But, you know, the spirit that we have is not on that vast level of what this brother, the beloved brother Paul had. Okay? But brothers and sisters, y'all have to travel in order to learn. So let's go to, let's just choose. Second Corinthians. Second Corinthians 8. Second Corinthians 8, and just start at verse 16.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 16. But thanks be to God, which put the same earnest care into the heart of Titus for you. For indeed he accepted the exhortation, but being more forward of his own accord, he went unto you. And we have sent with him the brother, whose praise is in the gospel throughout all the churches.
All right. So Titus went through all the churches, and what did he have? It says he had the praise of the Most High. Who else was with him? Well, who's that brother that was with him? I don't know. It might have been Gaius. Okay, let's move on. It might have been Gaius, but so we just stop at 2 Corinthians 8 and 18. It was.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we have sent with him the brother, whose praise is in the gospel throughout all the churches.
Go ahead.
And not that only, but who was also chosen of the churches to travel with us with this grace, which is administered by us to the glory of the same Lord, and declaration of your ready mind.
So what was these men doing? Traveling, learning, teaching, expounding on what's right and what's wrong. That's what's going to happen to us. That's what's going to happen to you. You got to learn to do it. Okay? Verse 19 again, not
Verse 19, and not only that, but who also was chosen of the churches to travel with us.
Right, so he was chosen to travel with Paul and Titus. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
With this grace.
With this grace.
Right, with this grace. Okay? So now, that grace that they're referring to is that they had taken up an offering and was going to take it and distribute it to people that was in need. Okay, go ahead.
Which is administered by us.
Right, which is given by us. Go ahead.
To the glory of the same Lord.
Right, meaning they all serve the Most High in Christ. So all praises to the Most High in Christ. Go ahead.
And declaration of your ready mind. Avoiding this, that no man should blame us in this abundance which is administered by us, providing for honest things, not only in the sight of the Lord, but also in the sight of men.
Go ahead.
And we have sent with them our brother.
So we read these things all the time. And we have sent with them our brother, somebody else that did what? Somebody else that traveled. But what do? We sit at home and don't do nothing. We sit at home and don't make a way because we've letting the fact of being a wage slave get the best of us. You know, I can't go, man. I can't come up. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's not what we're reading. We're reading in the scriptures. These brothers that taught the gospel, they didn't stay at home. Let's go to Acts 11. Acts 11 and verse 19.
This is Acts chapter 11 and 19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word of God to none but unto the Jews only.
Right. You see, so what was they doing? They were preaching the word of the Most High, and they were traveling from country to country, from city to city. They were only teaching the Israelites. Okay? Go ahead, read the next part.
Verse 20. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, which when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, preaching the Lord Yahushua. And the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number believed and turned unto the Lord. Then tidings of these things came unto the ears of the church which was in Jerusalem, and they sent forth Barnabas, that he should go as far as Antioch, who when he came and had seen the grace of God was glad, and exhorted them all, that with purpose of heart they would cleave unto the Lord.
So what was they teaching? They was teaching the Bible. And why? so that people can turn unto the Most High. They were going everywhere they possibly could. Wherever the Spirit of the Most High was leading them, that's where they was going. Okay? Go to the 13th chapter. Acts chapter 13, start at verse 1.
This is Acts 13 and verse 1. Now there were in this church that was at Antioch.
So now, when it says the church that was in Antioch, that was referring to an assembly. Okay? There's an assembly, like what we was reading about in Ezekiel 11, a small assembly. It's saying church because it's talking about the people of the Most High. There in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and what? And teachers. Go ahead.
As Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. As they ministered to the Lord and fasted, the Holy Ghost said, Separate me Barnabas and Saul for the work whereunto I have called them.
Right, so the Lord told him this. The Spirit told him, I want Saul and Barnabas. Okay, go ahead.
And when they had fasted and prayed and laid their hands on them, they sent them away. So they, being sent forth by the Holy Ghost, departed unto Seleucia.
They traveled, go ahead.
And from thence they sailed to Cyprus.
Yeah, they took water, then went someplace else. So why are you brothers and sisters sitting still? Don't want to go nowhere. Don't want to travel. Maybe it's because the Spirit is knowing that you're still in sin and that you're not ready for that type of work. I don't know your heart. All I know is I'm telling brothers to make a move, and brothers like, no, man, I make no move. Okay, I'm beginning to understand that. So the Holy Ghost is not telling you to do it. The Holy Ghost is telling you to sit still. You know you're not serious. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And when they were at Salamis, they preached the word of God.
So they went from Seleucia to Cyprus to Salamis. They everywhere. They preached, did what? They went for a good time. They went on vacation. They went on Esau's caravan. Or went on Esau's cruise. Or they went to Esau's worldly world. Where'd they go to Esau's shit? Nothing. They went doing what? Preaching the word of the Most High. You Israelites, you better wake up, man. Y'all better wake up. Go ahead.
In the synagogues of the Jews.
In the synagogues of the Jews. They went into the assemblies, the sanctuaries that the Most High had put together. They didn't go into these heathens. They went to where the Most High had put them together. That's where Israel traveled and went to. Go ahead.
And they had also John to their minister. And when they had gone through the isle unto Paphos, they found a certain sorcerer.
So they went somewhere else. They're still traveling. They're still traveling. Israel, we need to break free from the wage, from being the wage slave. Because we go somewhere, we got to come back home. We go somewhere, got to come back home. I go somewhere, I don't want to come back home. I go somewhere, I'm ready to keep going. And keep going and keep going. Just like what you read right here. And keep going and teach and teach and teach. And stay there. And teach some more. And go somewhere and teach some more. We got to get rid of these ropes and these bonds and these chains that's holding us back. But first you got to stop giving this man power over you by thinking that you can't survive without him. You got to come up, that's between you and the Most High. You got to come up with the means to provide and make it happen, Captain. And still do this work of the Most High. And still do the work of the Most High. You got to be able to make that happen. But being yoked and chained to him, you ain't going nowhere. You got to ask him for a day. Ain't that a blip? You gotta ask him for a day. Can I get a day off? Ask him 2-3 months in advance. You know, I need this day. And then you got the weekend, and then I need that day. And then that day is the Monday. You got to travel to try and make it back. Because you in fellowship, in righteousness, and you did the right thing. But come they wicked pagan days, they give you a 4-day. Oh, we got a 4-day weekend. We got a 4-day weekend. You like, you ain't got to go to work. But then now it's come time for you to serve your God. You to do your thing religiously. You can't get that. We don't have lead time. Who gonna drive the truck? They don't care about you. So you need to stop caring about them. You need to find you a way and a means to get that little piece of green paper that answered a lot of situations. You need to start using your brain lawfully. First, keep the commandments. The Most High gonna help you. And then stop being afraid of him. It was 2018. It's 2005. What's that, 13 years? 2005. Probably was the last year I was a union carpenter. Made $1,000 a week. Made $1,000 a week. Had full benefits, insurance for all my children. I was afraid. I was telling the truth. Not so much as afraid. Yes, I wouldn't have did it. But I worked hard. I put my dues in. Even before I made it to that point, being a lot younger, I still worked like a boss. Run your ass in the ground. When I say in the ground, trust and believe. I did everything. I went to work and still had 3-4 full projects of my own, working them day and night, day and night. But I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed. And I would pray, and I would want. I used to want what I got right now. To wake up at late mornings and go to lunch in the afternoon with my wife. Because I would be working and putting my life on the line and seeing these heathens and pagans. I was like, it ain't even about the money. It got to the point to where it wasn't about the money. I'm like, this ain't about the money. They just dogging us out. They just slaving us out. If they giving us this type of money, trust and believe, this has got to be a handout compared to the way they getting paid. And it really is. So I said, I want to work for myself. But what kept me for a small amount of time, actually in thought, was like, man, I brought this out in a class about a week ago. I don't even think it was in a class. It might have been on the phone to a brother. The Most High showed it to me. Let me think of the precept. We can't have that spirit of fear. If I think of the precept, I get it. But we can't have that spirit of fear. Like, I'm going to fail if I leave this man. Since I left that man, not one of my children ever needed him. Never needed to go to the hospital. The local doctor or dentist, I paid for out of my pocket. So I would have had a fear for nothing. Because people, you stay sticking to this man, he got benefits. You think, in case I get sick, this demon has got you by the balls, man. He got you. Or he got you in the throat. And like, don't move. You're like, okay, I ain't gonna move. Because if you move and you lose your insurance, you're like, man, I ain't gonna be able to do nothing. So he stick. That's how, and you know, that's how they get you. And they get you and they make you a committed servant and slave because they give you health insurance. That's the difference between that and a regular old job. You say, oh man, I ain't losing this job. This job give me insurance. Shit, I ain't going nowhere. And I ain't telling you to go nowhere. You got to live off your own faith. But I took my chance. And so far, with faith and all praise to the Most High, it's been working. And I'm glad I did. Because if I hadn't, I'd have still been letting him run me in the ground. Up 5 o'clock in the morning to be there at 6:30, to work into the afternoon to get home to lay down. Work so hard I can't even spend the money. We're expendable. They breeding us, man, through fornication. All our simple-minded, us being simple-minded, not leading, not guiding, don't want to be a part of nothing. We having sex. We making babies for them. Y'all don't know that though. Every time y'all think y'all cute and you dress up and you want to give your little booty hole out in the streets, you doing the white man's job without him having to create a sex for him. We just as stupid. You doing the work for him because he know that you gonna end up big belly. Little girl pushing the stroller. You doing the work for him. This man, I'm not paranoid. This man has got it down to a science to where you operating without him having to do nothing. Nothing. The scriptures say, he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. So when I tell you, my sons, zip it up, he want to cut my head off for telling you that. Because he'll dry off. All the Most High got to do is destroy the wicked out of land, and we don't give them no more wickedness, meaning we don't put no more bastard children out there, but then we raise our children in our homes. You know what's going to happen to him and his world of deception? It's going to start crumbling down, man. It'll come crumbling down. This is how you take the power back, man. This is how you take the power back, by educating yourself in these scriptures. The Most High don't intervene in every little thing, man. Every little cause. He don't intervene. He don't get involved with every little thing. Because some things has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. Every bug, every ache, every situation, every circumstance, everything that you go through, it has a purpose. And it has to play out for your own self-edification. So just because the Most High don't come to every beck and call and make it perfect does not make him less, the more the less. Oh, he's not real. That doesn't mean that. You have to live this life out so that you can understand. But you ain't going to understand unless you get taught. And you can't learn sitting at home, man. How many years ago has it been I've been saying to brothers out here, I say, man, let's just sell everything I got. I'm going to call y'all out now. Let's just sell everything I got. And some incentive, I'll give y'all a piece of the money, and then we can do something together, and we'll be free from Esau. The hell with him, and then we can start selling what we put together, and we'll be in the win. How many years ago was that?
Mine was 3.
Yours was 3. I said it to you. I'm glad you admitted it. How many has it been for you? About 5. See, I ain't lying. I said that to these men. Let's just sell what I got. And y'all can keep some of the money and reinvest it back in. Now it's us. We work up every day to it and sell it, and we don't got to go back to work for nobody. We got this. We sell this. We have our money. We can live for 3 or 4 months off of this, and we can be gone, man. You don't put your spirit into it, it ain't gonna never happen. You gotta believe in it, man. You got to believe in it. It's nothing for me to do because I love this truth. And I've been trying to do, I don't want to say, but I've been giving since I came in this truth, man. Sacrificing. Because I believe in it. It works. They not going to give us nothing. We got to give us something. Nobody else out there told you to do nothing like that. Yo, man, you will sell a house, I give you 10 grand. We gonna walk down the street and somebody gonna do that. That's the link. That's a come up. And then I'm gonna go into business with you. I'm gonna go into business with you. You're gonna reinvest it. Do you know what type of game that is? Knowledge that is? You gotta put some type of work in. The work is selling it. Y'all know somebody, how many people y'all know bought a house? You countless, huh? A few? You know, a few. It's not possible, man. It's hard. It's hard. But with the Spirit, all things are possible. When we can be out there. Wake up late morning, do what we got to do the afternoon, walk away. Don't show up at all when we don't need to show up at all. Hire somebody to get it sold for us. We cash out. Go and don't have to come back. I mean, I could tell us, but I can't make us do it, man. Can't make us do it. I can tell you. So let's go back. What was that? Ecclesiastes 34 and 9. A man that have traveled knoweth many things, man. He gonna find out many things. He gonna hear many things. He gonna learn many things. Go ahead. And he that
hath much experience will declare wisdom.
Yeah, you gonna start talking about what happened when you travel. That's what made these dudes great, man. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 10. He that hath no experience knoweth little.
He that have no experience. Experience is an action. Right? Yeah. Experience is an action. So if you don't have no action, you know little. It's the situation that you have to judge that helps bring the maturity level up. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Leave him alone so he can learn. What'd I just say? Okay. You know where we at? Right. What did I just say? He was trying to tell you. Okay. It's the what did I say? It's the situation. It's the
situation that brings the
You got to judge that.
experience
It's the situation. You understand that you have to judge that brings your experience level up. Because the experience is an action. So when you travel and you go these different places, right? You're gonna deal with different situations. Right? Right. So now you have to judge this matter. It puts you in a different place. It make you go into the precepts. It make you go into the scriptures. So once you go into the law, statutes, and commandments that don't change, and you bring them out, and now you have to fight this fight. You got to wrestle with this situation. That gives you experience, because now you have to judge this matter according to Exodus 18. You have to judge this matter. You bring the cause to the Most High. And now you got to judge this matter. And now you got to pronounce the scriptures upon the situation to help the person understand the decision that they have to make. That gives you experience, because now you was faced with something different. Everybody understand that? Okay. And you might not get that. Just like, you know, it happens when you travel, right? You travel, you run into something new, right? Okay. Anybody experience, you traveled and then you run into something new, you say, this is strange. Right? Then you have to judge the situation according to scriptures, right? But it makes you think, right? It gives you experience. Go ahead. But he that
had traveled is full of prudence.
Right. So when you travel, you get full of understanding. Because it's talking about the situations. Go ahead.
Verse 11. When I traveled,
go ahead.
I saw many things.
So what's going to happen when we travel, congregation? We're going to see many things. So y'all should want to see a lot of different things. You should want to see what's out there. The Spirit of the Most High will take you out there to see those things. Y'all want to see some things?
Yes, sir.
Right. You want to see? Y'all sure? Y'all don't say? Y'all want to see some things?
Yes, sir. Look at ask machines.
What is that?
Message.
Oh, I thought it said yes. Yeah, so if y'all want to see some things, let's make it happen. I want to see some more stuff too. Go ahead.
And I understood more than I can express.
Right. Meaning you see so many different things, you cannot fully describe it over again. That's all the different situations that's out there. Now you can't let the situations that's out there wreck your mind. You can't be at awe or in disbelief. All right, brother. You can't be at awe or in disbelief by the sight of your eyes, which you shall see. You got to know how to handle it. You just got to go with it. You got to go into the scriptures. Okay, go ahead.
I was oft times in danger of death.
Right, so you can't get shook. He said it was oftentimes in danger of death. He could have lost his life. That didn't stop him. That didn't make him want to quit. Remember that one time in the loop, all hell broke loose? You know? That completely shook. I mean, it was in the middle of the riot. It's different than seeing it. Listen, it's different than seeing it on television. In real life, it happened in a split second. Like an accident. Bam.
Yeah.
The villains, they showed up. It's like they parachuted. It's like we were in the middle of the war zone. You had the SWAT that was ready to kill. If not, did they have a tank or something out there? They had a tank out there. Riot shields. They had the dogs. And you had the villains. But the villains, Israel is smart as hell. The villains didn't come from the city. They came from the county end. They came from the county end, and at one time they tore the whole place up. They tore the loop up.
And they had assault
rifles.
They had rifles. And listen, and they start breaking out all the windows. So all you heard is bang, bang. So they coming this way, and the SWAT was coming this way. And do you know where they ended up at? Right in the camp.
We was in the middle.
Right in the camp. right in front of us. So we saw the heathens, they was ready to pop off. And they coming down the street with a tank. Jung, 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 jung. That's how the tracks sounded. Jung, 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 jung. Then they start popping out smoke, tear gas, and then they start over the intercom telling us, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So that's in danger of death. So a couple brothers lost it. They never experienced that before. I was like, hey, let's teach this script. Let's teach this word. It's like, man, you crazy. I'm never following you. I kind of lost it a little bit. I was like, well, get the hell on then. We came back together, though, brother. It was a couple brothers. Here it is, here. Oftentimes, man, you'll be in danger of death. I was delivered. Yet, I was delivered because of these things. Okay, you had something? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So the experience taught him how to deliver himself. So he's talking about prior events. Helped deliver him from current events where he was in danger. So without the experience of those situations, what would happen? He could have died. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you go up and he's talking about the experience, he didn't have no experience nor a little without knowing this. You got brothers, man, they'll be killed out here. You know what I'm saying? So the experience, those dangers, it teach you how to handle a lot of different situations when you face with it. You know what I'm saying? You might not understand it then, but when the Most High bring it back, then you know how to move and stay safe. You know what I'm saying? And how to conduct yourself.
Yeah, no, that wasn't Mike Brown doing Mike Brown, was it?
No, that's not different.
That was crazy too.
Yeah, that's when he was on my squad.
Some other guy, some other kid guy. The one that the cop said he was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
He was running from
Down on Goodfella in the car, they shot him up in the car. He had his son with him. Said, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Philando.
No, Anthony says.
What's his name?
It was like Anthony something.
No, it wasn't Mike Brown. It's another Jake out here where the police, he ran from the police. And the police said, I'm gonna kill this MF.
In the car where they heard it.
Yeah. And the police chased him down and they killed him. And they acquitted the cop.
Yeah.
So Jake, in the midst of us teaching, it should be in one of my videos. So if you go to like Sham Shawan Israel and then go to videos, you'll be able to find it because we was recorded. And so they tore the city up. They tore the city up out there. They kept doing it. They kept doing it for like they kept doing it for a couple weeks, you know. And they was trying to catch them doing it because these dudes, they were wearing masks and everything, you know. And they hit the city's main attraction. They hit the city's main attraction, the Strip, one weekend. When I say they came in slick, they came in like a thief in the night. Boy, they was gangster with it. Boy, they came in and got the hell up out of there, man. They tore the whole thing up, man, before you could know it. But the thing about it is the cops expected them. They expected them because they was there. They was just sitting, listen, they were just sitting on the far end. They were sitting on the far end, and they came in here. And for some reason, they scattered. They probably went this way. I don't even think they made contact with them. With the cops in the tank, they didn't even make contact with them.
But they remember some of the SWAT guys, they just started taking cats out right in front of them. Yeah,
they tackled somebody right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, not us. Not us. Now, that's not us.
Brother even said he thought one of them afraid trying to get you. He said he almost sprung in the military mode. He about to get the cop. He like, nah.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, Rocky said he thought he was finna get me, so he was finna get the cop. He was finna tackle SWAT because the SWAT was running towards me, and I was still standing there. And so I guess it was a bad guy And the SWAT just took him out, just tackled him right there at my feet. Boom, boom. I had to like take a couple steps back.
That cop went right here, bro.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Yeah. The cop named Jason Scott. The cop that killed him named Jason Scott.
Perhaps. I remember that cop that's a killer. Anthony Lamar Smith. Okay, yeah, that's his name. So he was just running because he had some drugs on him. And he didn't want the police to take him. They get you with them drugs on you, man. You going bye-bye. You going bye-bye. You going to prison. You going and they gonna put you in the cell, man. You gonna be somebody's girl. They put you in there with them hardened criminals that know they ain't gonna never see no woman again, so their vision is kind of blurred, you know what I'm saying? They start looking at you like you the female. It's like, no, we're not going in there. So he drove off, but he got judged too. So he say oftentimes he was in debt, he was in danger of death. Yeah, I was delivered because of these things, okay? Was there more? The spirit of those that, verse 13.
The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live.
The spirit of those that fear the Most High, you're going to live. And that means that don't be afraid. In these situations, they're going to unfold. They're going to unfold. But the Lord said, what's going to happen? You're going to live. All right? You always get distracted, brother. Don't let Satan get you. The spirit of those that fear the Most High shall live. In the situations that happen, that's dangerous. Because some of you think that preaching the gospel is the safe zone. Christianity is the safe zone. Because you're in compliance with Esau. You're not casting down imaginations. You're not preaching against his kingdom. You understand? You're not looking like and sounding like a terrorist, like a hate group, like a cell. You're just preaching the Bible and you're none of those things. So you have to be keeping the commandments of the Most High in order to survive these situations. All right, go ahead.
For their hope is in him that saveth them.
For their hope is in him that saveth him. So in that situation, you're going to start hoping for the Most High. Hoping that the Most High remembers you. Remember your actions that you have been faithful to him. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 14. Whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope.
Right. So you're going to have that faith and that hope that guess what? The Most High will raise you back up from the dead, or the Most High going to deliver you and not allow the situation to happen. Israel, this video is going to end in about 20 seconds. We'll get that. So we're going to stop it, and then we're going to finish it with the closing and then the prayer, okay? Because I think this is just about it. All right, Shalom. Just jump right back in.